Hey mates, just Matt jumping in here to let you know that I'm coming to the UK for a tour this September 2025. I'm coming to Edinburgh, Cambridge. It's our first ever show there. Birmingham, Manchester, Swansea, first ever Wales show, and London. I'm going to be doing my show Bad Boy, as well as a live Who Knew It with Matt Stewart in each of those places. Cannot wait. So pumped up. And also, while I've got you, our recent 500th episode, which we recorded live at the Capitol Theatre, that is now available to watch on our YouTube channel. So just head over to our YouTube channel, Do Go On Pod, and check out all 3 episodes there. A whole lot of fun. And yes, grab tickets to Bad Boy and Who Knew It in the UK at mattstewartcomedy.com. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dressed season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and more, discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dev Warnocky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins.
I love you.
Thank you.
No, that was to the listener.
Oh, thank God. I was about to say.
You are on thin ice.
No, I was about to say you too. Thank God I would have fallen for that one. So close.
So embarrassing.
But
don't ever tell your friends you love them.
Why would you do that?
That's so embarrassing.
Never do that.
Let your friends die not knowing how you feel about them.
So we will not be telling this next person that we love them because they are our friend, our dear friend at that. It's Evan Munro-Smith. Hello.
Hello. I'm so
Hi,
excited
Evan.
to be here. Hello.
I've never told Evan I love him.
That's not
that's
true.
a lie.
Not once.
You
No,
said
you tell me every time you see me, you tell me.
Yeah.
You said it more to him than probably any other human being on earth.
Yeah. Every time he leaves the room, as the door closes, I yell, I love you!
It's true.
It's one of my favourite bits.
And sometimes I say it back.
Yeah, you often do because you've learnt that if you don't, I'll reopen that closed door and chase you down.
That's right. Your day will be ruined. So it's easier just to comply.
It's easy just to say it, yeah.
I'm happy being that person in my friends' lives. Oh, God, it's just easier if you just go with it. It just shuts her up. Jesus Christ. She's insufferable. Yeah, hi, Jess. Evan, we're so happy to have you here. What a treat.
Yeah, what a pleasure.
No Matt Stewart this week. He is still missing.
Still fine, is what you meant to
Oh,
say.
he's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
Evan, you know he's fine. You've heard of that.
I
Yeah.
genuinely, I don't know why he's not here today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be because he's dead. I don't know.
It could
But
be.
no one said that. Jesus.
No, but would anybody tell me?
He's fine. No one would tell you.
How would I find out?
Someone would tell you.
Someone would post on Instagram or something.
That's how you find
If
out.
that's how you found out that Matt Stewart died, would you not be a little bit miffed?
Yeah.
Somebody
yeah.
would tell you, I reckon. No, Matt's just on roadshow.
Ah,
Yeah,
Was
he's
he-
just
was
doing
the
some gigs in
Comedy
regional
Festival
Victoria.
tour.
Yeah,
That's right. Yes, he's out there.
dead to us.
He's walking the boards.
Dead to
He's
us.
dead to us, but he's killing it. We know
I
that.
say that like just. I just mean compared to being dead. He's not dead. He's at
Yeah.
work essentially, but it's also a great gig, and
a
we're
great gig.
we're
We
very
should-
happy for him.
We should mention, if you live in country Victoria, or like he's doing a bunch of dates with the Melbourne Comedy Festival Roadshow, go out there, see him.
Yeah,
And you can find out details. There's the Comedy Festival website if you look up Roadshow.
and even if it's not Matt, Roadshow's always good.
That's right.
Yeah, they
I've
have good
done it.
shows, yeah.
I've done it, so
I've done a bit of running around, like filming and, on those roadshow things. They're always a lot of fun.
awesome. Let's go see him.
Go check it out. Now, Jess,
Yes.
what the hell are we doing here? What does it show?
Oh my God, Dave. It's been 500 times. How do you not know yet?
I don't listen.
This show is one of the three of us researches a topic often suggested to us by our wonderful listeners. They go away, they live it, they breathe it, they watch a doco, they listen to an audiobook, they read the Wikipedia page.
It's all true.
And they bring it back to the other two who, throughout the story, go, huh, or I've heard of that, or that reminds me of something. And
there's a lot of that.
It's just a lot of fun. And it's Dave's turn, and we always get onto the topic with a question. David, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I do. My question for you, Evan, for you, Jess, is with what event are Todd Russell and Brant Webb associated?
Beaconsfield Mine!
It's the Beaconsfield Mine collapse!
Whoa.
You are correct! How did you know that?
Because that story gripped a nation.
Oh my gosh, do you remember, Evan?
Those names are burnt into your head
Yes.
from when it happened?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I was watching the news. I've read about it. Oh, a harrowing and amazing story.
This is great for me because I only vaguely am aware of this. I don't know anything much about
We've
it.
got a super fan. We've got someone.
Okay, I feel weird being a super fan of a pretty full-on event.
Yes.
I might cry.
Really?
I don't know. I wonder if I have a favourite bit of this story, and I wonder if you'll include it.
I wonder too.
Let's find out. I'll
If
let
I
you know
don't-
when we get to it.
Obviously, don't say anything because I feel stupid that I didn't look it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Just keep it to yourself.
Cool. I bet this has been suggested by a few people, has it?
Yes, so this is the Beaconsfield Mine collapse. It's voted for by our Patreon supporters. I put up 4 Australian topics, and this one only won by 5 votes out of nearly 1,000. So it's very close.
Ooh.
But the one that came second, also a great story that I'll get to one day. But the people that suggested this topic, and anyone could do so, there's a link in the show notes. And these people did that. Gabe Hager from Fargo, North Dakota. Also, Rachel Johnson from Melbourne, who is one of our Patreon supporters. And I always ask people to comment, hey, what of these 4 options, what are you voting for and why? And Rachel wrote, I suggested it. I love
That's a
that.
good reason to vote
So
for
I'm
it.
glad that you voted for it too, Rachel. It got up. Georgia from Ballarat. And Sophie Kime from Maitland, New South Wales.
Interesting, because I was going to say, I wonder if this is a story that's known internationally, but it was a South or North Dakota.
Yeah, there's the North Dakota and everyone else was from Australia.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if international listeners heard of this story. It was a big news story in Australia when it happened.
Yes, it was like all anyone could talk about.
It was all over the news for however long it went for. It was a long ordeal. And yeah, it was huge. And then even after the fact, it was in the news for a long time. So Australia-wide, it's very well known.
Except at Evan's house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evan
I have
was
so many
probably-
questions, but I don't want to preempt the thing. But when? What year was it? If you don't-
2006.
Okay, all right. I mean, I had other shit going on in 2006.
Yeah.
Why was I so interested? I was in high school.
2006.
Yeah, that was my last year of high school.
So many, Evan, there's just too many babes back then. Too many babes.
I had exams.
Fighting off the babes.
Too many babes. Had to go to form, had to go to prom. I was the king.
That's so interesting because I was like, I was going to say to you, Evan, I reckon I was probably so engaged in it because I was studying journalism at the time, but I was not. I was in year 10.
Yeah, wow.
So that's interesting. I thought it was later.
Maybe this is what got you into journalism. And that's what got you into podcasting, kind of.
Kind of. And here we are. Not
Here we
really using the degree, but kind of.
But kind of. And we're talking about that thing that you love.
When I say I love it, it's like, oh, now I'm nervous that I don't know much.
That's fine.
I don't have to.
It's genuinely fascinating. I've spent the week sort of deep diving on it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know anything about this. Really, I knew the story, of course, because it was, like you say, big news. But let's jump in. Beaconsfield is a small town in the northeast of Tasmania, about 40 kilometres north of Launceston. These days, the population is only about 1,300, but back in 2006, it was about 3,500. Gold was first discovered in the area in 1847, which, of course, started a gold rush.
Yeah.
Underground mining began in 1879 with the sinking and development of 3 main shafts to access the gold reef. They were the Heart Shaft, the Main Shaft, and the Grub Shaft.
Because for a second I was like, why is he mentioning these 3 shafts? Is this relevant? It's because he wanted to say grub shaft.
I mean, we've all got a grub shaft. It's so funny.
Is there any explanation to why they
Pass
got
us a wet wipe, darling. I've got to wipe the grub shaft.
It's full on. I couldn't find out why it's called that, but Grub with the double B.
What is it? Heart, Main, and Grub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maine kind of sucks, doesn't it? You've got
I was
heart.
going to say Main makes sense. I was going to say Heart almost makes sense. You'd have like it. Maybe that's it. You got to get your vessels and stuff. Maybe there's a...
Yeah, you can see, there's like intricate little mine bits going off it, yeah.
But Grub, it's double B. It could be named after a person.
Yeah.
Or a witchetty grub.
Christine Grub.
Christine was great. She was one of the reception girls. She's a good laugh.
Yeah, top Sheila.
Dedicate a shaft to her.
We love Christine, so we named this Grub. Love you, Chris. Good on you, Dal. Those old blokes who call all women Dal. Yeah, good on you, Dal.
Good on you, Dal.
Thanks, love.
The area was worked on and off throughout the 20th century, and in the 1990s, deep drilling with the grub shaft resumed after a permanent water pump was installed. Basically, I think the deeper they went, the more water they were encountering. So the wetter it got, the deeper you go. So, helping pump out the water as the miners went hundreds of meters underground meant that with the pump, they could now go back and go real deep.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't expect it to go this way, really. I didn't. So, Anzac Day, April 25th, 2006. That's when this all kicks off. 34-year-old father of three, Todd Russell, had come off a night shift where he'd noted the ground of the gold mine was pretty noisy.
How old was he?
34.
Right.
That's right.
Young.
How old are you, Jess?
Young.
You're young.
Equally young.
Equally young.
And which one is this?
This is Todd Russell.
Todd, thank you.
Todd Russell. What he means it was spitting and cracking whilst they were underground.
Right.
A rock actually fell and knocked his helmet off during this shift.
Whoa.
Which, could be a bad omen, bad sign of a bit of movement, but, just another day in the mine. It's not easy work down there.
No.
After his shift, he had to sleep, watched the footy, and then thought about pulling a sickie. So, you know what? I've got to go back tonight. I've been working a lot. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
He was super tired, but after thinking it over, he decided not to pull a sickie.
This is such a classic thing.
Isn't it?
It was just like, I wasn't even going to be there that day.
Yes, it is really like that.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was this close to not taking that train or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the one. And so he decided, no, I'll go to work as always. He went along, getting there at 5:30 for his 12-hour shift.
5:30 a.m.
5:30 p.m. Sorry, because he's worked all night.
Oh, right.
Slept a little bit in the day. Working up, watched the footy and gone, I can't be bothered going back again tonight. It's Anzac Day, whatever. Yeah. So he was a shot firer, which is a specialist in mining who prepares, positions, and detonates explosive to break down rock and soil. So he's the explosives guy.
Cool.
Yeah, man, that would be a stressful job.
Yeah, but also kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of fun and cool, but every time...
Blowing shit up?
Yeah.
Sick. Like being allowed to blow shit up.
Yeah, but being close to the shit being blown up, might be a bit more scared of that.
But no one's mad at you for blowing stuff up.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the principal doesn't yell at you this time.
Yeah, that's like you get obsessed with fireworks and you're like, all right.
I fucking love fireworks.
Fireworks are awesome.
Let me tell you.
When we were young... my dad had a friend who...
Young girl, you're still very young.
Thank you so much. But when I was a child, 8, 9, including the year 1999, of course, welcoming the millennium, Dad had a friend that had a pool and he would have everyone over on New Year's Eve for a few years in a row. And a couple of times, someone had brought in a bunch of fireworks. Set off in this guy's big front yard, and it was freaking awesome.
That's the best.
Especially when you're 9 years old and you're right next to someone. Obviously, I'm not setting it off, but I'm oh my God, it's over there.
Yeah, we did fireworks as a kid. A lot of fun.
It's so awesome.
They give it such a professional name, though. Shot firer.
Shot firer.
I like it.
It should be, I don't know, blowing stuff up guy.
Yeah, the big boom man.
Yeah, boom man.
Boom, boom. So modern mines are extremely deep and they're big enough to drive large trucks. I was looking at videos.
Yeah, right.
It's not like the mine shaft stuff of the gold rush with mine carts and that.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been to mines. Into I don't know, where do you go to Ballarat? I've been to Ballarat. Yeah, you can go down the mines, right? Obviously not active anymore, but they're big enough they're tight though. They take small groups through and they're pretty tight to get through. Yep. But these are big enough to drive a truck.
Yeah, you drive a truck down, and what they do is and this is what
how do you get a truck? I guess you drive the truck into it.
Yeah, you drive it all the way down.
It's not like because again, when I've been in mine shafts before, I'm by no means an expert. But you get a lift. It's a vertical, hole in the ground. Whereas this, I suppose, is like a
It's just like
a diagonal hole.
It's actually so
like
you can get a lift down, and that's how most of the workers get down. But to get the truck down there, there's a series of like kind of spirals. That
Yeah,
go
it has to be.
Okay.
Like an airport car park.
There was one. It's kind of like, oh my god! Surely there's got to be some spots
Sometimes I get
on this
motion
level.
sickness trying to get out of the fucking airport.
Level 5, no spots. Level 6, oh my god!
Weaving our way down. I'm zooming down, let me tell you.
Kind of like that with another gold mine that I was just watching a video of how it worked. They some guy's job is to drive the truck all the way down, pick up whatever they've mined, and then drive it back. And it's a 2-hour round trip.
Wow.
Because you got to drive pretty slow, but also you wind round and round and round about 8 or 9 miles of like round and round and round. And then they try and do it maybe 4 times in a shift.
Yeah.
So they're just driving up and back in the dark, in the dusty.
I'm also imagining that it's big enough for the truck, but like only just. So he drives all the way down, but then he has to reverse it back. How does he turn around?
How am I doing back there?
Just head over the back the whole time.
For 2 hours.
Tongue out. Just getting
That's exactly it. Yep. So Todd slowly drove a loader about 8 or 9 kilometres, spiralling down until he was 925 metres below the surface. And they call that level 925.
Okay.
So that's about 0.57 miles underground.
Right.
For anyone overseas. So it's steep.
Yeah.
Once there, he met up with his assigned team for the shift. There was 44-year-old Larry Knight, who he already knew, and the guy he'd never worked with before that night, 37-year-old Brant Webb. So they were sort of, teamed up for the first time. And they were all going to work in a tele-loader, also known as a telescopic handler, a teleporter, a reach forklift, or a zoom boom.
We're going to go with zoom boom. Thank you. Sorry to speak on your behalf there, Evan, but I've made an executive decision.
I liked teleporter, but yeah, zoom boom is
cool.
Zoom boom is better.
So basically, it looks like a typical digger. Like one guy sits in a cabin and drives the thing, and on the front is a long arm with a basket where the other two can sit or stand in. And the arm extends like a cherry picker, so you get close to the walls or the roof for the mining or whatever. Larry Knight and Brant Webb flipped a coin as to who was going to be driving and who was going to be in the basket with Todd. Larry, turns out, got to drive, and Brant got in the basket with Todd.
Fuck's sake.
And this coin flip would be extremely fateful. Another one of those,
Do you know what kind of a coin it was? Was it a gold coin?
Oh my gosh. They have special gold coins made of pure gold.
I just saw Evan's regret face. I've never seen it before.
And it wasn't warranted.
No, it was good.
No, I don't know. I don't back it.
Okay. Well, it's in forever now. You can't take it back. So, Larry's driving. Todd and Brant are in the basket, which, like a cherry picker, is completely open at the top. It's only waist deep.
Okay.
At 9:26 p.m., a small earthquake struck. It only had a magnitude of 2.3 on the Richter scale. It was barely felt on land at all. But 1 kilometre underground and close to the epicenter, it triggered a rock fall.
Wow.
And it only lasted a second, but it was catastrophic. 14 others who were in the mine at the time were able to escape, but the rocks fell and buried Todd, Brant, and Larry. Everything went dark. And I mean underground pitch black dark. And everyone who talks about this story kept reiterating that unless you've been underground like that, you don't actually know what proper total darkness is. I'm not sure if they turn the lights off when you're in one of your many mine escapades, Evan.
They did not.
They did not. Like they say, like you can't see 2 millimeters in front of your face. Like your eyes just never adjust because there's no light at all. Like it's dark.
Yeah.
Todd's, he's conscious. His cap lamp wasn't working, which is that typical light on a miner's helmet.
Oh, right.
And he started screaming out to Larry to get them the fuck out of there. Larry's driving. There was no response from Larry. And there's also none from Brant, who seconds earlier was standing next to him in the basket. He's like, Todd's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
it's dark. Where is everyone? No one's responding. It turns out Brant has been knocked unconscious. He came to, and fortunately his cap lamp still works. So they had light that they used sparingly to save the battery. Brant discovered that Todd was covered by and pinned under many rocks.
Right.
He was buried up to his head. And apart from that, only his forearms were free.
Jeez.
Which is not
It's a genuine nightmare. Like it's just the feeling of like the thought of being that far underground and trapped. It's like next level claustrophobia.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
in the dark.
Dark.
Oh man.
And like it's hot under there as well.
Yeah.
And it's
Hot
moist. Hot and moist.
Oh man,
yeah.
I just assumed it would be really cold underground like that.
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah,
really.
right.
And even when you're talking about like going to the mines in Ballarat and doing a tour, I'm like, fuck no. Absolutely not. Don't.
On the tiniest
I don't
chance
like,
to get stuck
I don't
there.
like being underwater.
Yeah.
Like I like to have access whenever I want it to air and outside.
Yeah. You just need to you need to put out of your head how deep underground you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hard when you're surrounded by rock, when you're in a mine. It's easier when if you drive through a tunnel, it's really easy to forget that you could be like quite a ways underground.
Yes.
You just don't think about it. It's like being on a plane, like you don't think about the fact that you're hurtling through the air at like
That's true.
an ungodly speed.
And you don't notice because it's such a gradual, like I'm thinking of like the tunnels at the freeway here. Like it's such a gradual decline.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're traveling underground.
It's only you start to feel it as you come back up, and it's mostly because other cars forget. And so they don't realise you're on an incline now, so they don't accelerate. So everyone slows down a lot. And you're like, why are we only going 60? It's like, well, because you've slowed right down because you're actually going, you're right. You go deeper than you think.
Wow. Like if you were to block either exit now, we'd be pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Todd's pinned. Being a strong miner, he thought he'd be able to push it off. But every time he tried to heave himself up to get the rock off, he would then like struggle and then relax and breathe out after the effort. And each time the rock would get tighter and tighter on his chest.
Awful.
Compressing him to the point that he struggled to breathe and he started to vomit. Because he's like so pinned. It's actually on his chest. Todd,
I'd be panicking.
Yeah.
Oh, me
Big
too.
time. Big time.
I'd be freaking.
Yeah.
Todd, it's lucky these guys are quite experienced at being underground at mining, and Todd himself had worked in mines rescue, and he knew that he had to get out before he suffered a full-on compression injury, which could turn life-threatening pretty quickly. So with Brant's help, they got the rock off slowly. It took like 4 hours.
Wow.
But they had nowhere to put it except in their already confined basket, which was only 1.4 metres square, or as they describe it, about the size of a typical dining table. So it's 1.4 metres long and 1.4 metres wide.
Yeah, right.
That's not very big.
But then they're completely surrounded by rock, so once they take the rock off them, they can't put it to the side.
Yeah.
So they have to put it somewhere inside the basket with them. With the extra rock, they had even less room. It now measured 1.4 metres long, and for width they only had 70 to 80 centimetres, or about 28 inches across.
Right.
That's
so
not enough.
So they can't really move.
And they're not small men.
Yeah, these are big dudes. Like Todd was... a big mining guy, said at the time he was 116 kilos.
Yeah.
And he's also a very tall dude.
Yeah, they're both tall and broad and like round men. So like two Dave-sized people could make that work, but these guys are big.
Yeah, 70, 80 centimetres.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
and what is that in miles?
0.000. Yes, 28 inches across. This meant they only had enough width for one man to lie on his back, whilst the other had to lie on his side.
Right.
And moving was very painful as the quartz walls that they were mining were like razor sharp.
Jeez.
So if you have to, whoever's lying on their side and moving is like pinned against this wall.
Scraping
and
against rock.
If you're doing the switch to being on your back, now you have to scrape down the wall.
This sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
Why are they doing this?
So they took turns.
Get out of there.
Get out. Just yell,
Larry, get us out of here.
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. That's all you have to say.
That's all you have to say.
No, they want the $100,000.
Yeah, that's right. Also, the roof, which was made up of precariously balanced rocks that had fallen on top of them, was just above, so that only about 30 centimetres above their face.
Jeez.
It's like, you can't really stand up, you can't really sit up. You can either lie on your side or lie on your back.
Yeah.
They're your two options.
And I guess there's just nothing, you can't do anything. You're just trapped. You just have to wait.
Yeah.
Wait for someone to hopefully come and find you.
Yep, honestly, that is all they could do. So it was hot, it was wet, it was dark, but for now, they were relatively safe. They took their helmets and belts off and tried to get as comfortable as possible. And they passed the time by chatting. Like I said at the start, in the 70s working there, living in this tiny town, they'd never worked a shift together before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And now you're like...
Well,
tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Who do you follow in the footy?
Yeah. Honestly, it was questions, stuff like that. They discovered pretty quickly that they were quite different people. Todd was quite serious. Brant was a bit of a joker, bit of a comedian. One man liked Ford, while the other liked Holden.
Oh, my God. These two will never get along.
One man liked hunting, and the other one, he preferred fishing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. The regular odd couple.
One thing they did have in common was their love for their families. Speaking about who was waiting for them back at home kept their spirits up and their morale, well, kind of high, relatively high, enough.
That's nice.
They were both married. Brant had 18-year-old twins, and Todd, like I said, 3 younger kids. They were 6, 10, and 12. And of course, it wasn't easy. They were very aware that the rocks above them were super precarious and it only needed one shock or extra tremor to hit, and it could shake the
there's
whole
always
roof.
aftershocks, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it could shake them down on top of them and they'd be buried.
Oh, man.
Also, not surprisingly, there was a bit of bickering. Todd got pissed when he smelled that Brant was smoking in the basket.
What?
He was like, stop bloody smoking.
That's pretty funny.
Eventually, however, he gave in, and despite not being a smoker, he decided to join in, being like, well, we're probably going to die in here anyway.
Yeah, give it a go.
One good thing was the lighter also meant they were able to work out the direction air was flowing in, and they had no need to worry about oxygen levels.
Oh, that's
despite
clever.
the rock being on top of them, wasn't airtight, so they weren't going to suffocate.
They knew there was air. Okay, yeah, that's great.
So that's one less
That's
thing to worry
clever,
about.
because again, I'm panicking. So I'm not thinking about... I'm not logically going, oh, well, I can see air coming in here. I'm not thinking like that.
I think the other guy would have to knock me out because I'd be freaking out so much. I'd be so unhelpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
No. You might surprise yourself. You never know.
Maybe
but I don't want you to ever be in a situation where you have to find out how you'd be in a life-threatening situation.
Probably, fortunately for them, they don't know how long they're going to be there.
That's right. They're like, well...
It could be a few hours.
They know something's happened.
But like,
they're on their way to help.
I won't spoil it for you, Evan, but if I'd told them this is how long you're going to be there, they probably would have freaked out.
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep fighting the urge to ask you how long are they down there for? I don't even know if I assume they get out because we're hearing about all this. It sounds like they're in for quite an ordeal.
Yes, it's a lot. Because the mine was so wet, they had access to dripping water and used one of their helmets to collect it.
Oh, wow.
Although this was slow and
They got bloody everything you need. They got air, they got water.
They got a bed, kind of. They got a razor sharp rock wall.
Bedrock.
You got a mate?
Bedrock.
What more do you need?
What more do you need? You're not doing any chores down there.
Yeah, jeez.
You have to clean a toilet.
Oh, yeah, good to get back to the bloody kids.
They're probably still getting paid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Surely getting overtime
Imagine
for this.
the overtime on this.
Surely. Though it was painstaking and slow to collect the water because it took about 2 hours to get a single mouthful.
Oh, my
how
God.
slow. It was like a classic slow drip stalactite style situation.
Yep.
Stalagmite.
That's actually in the rhythm of one of Matt Stewart's jokes.
Yeah.
He's talking about man caves.
Yeah.
So check it out in his stand-up special on the Stupid Old Channel. That's a bloody good joke.
Yeah.
Full of stalactites and stalagmites and bloody estrogen. Making fun of man caves. Good stuff, Matt. We miss you.
And we wish you well.
We wish you well.
Wherever you are.
So that's what. Remember, they got 2 helmets. In one helmet, they're collecting water. In the other, they collected their piss, just in case things got desperate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But you don't want to get your helmets mixed up. Piss in the water.
No. And it's very dark.
Fortunately, they say they never had to drink the piss.
Thank God. They would
say
say
that.
that.
That's
They
what
would
they
say
say.
that.
You would say that.
I'd say I'd take that to my grave. I would.
Yeah.
No, never had to drink the piss.
No.
Nope. Definitely not.
So the thing about, I knew this story and that they were trapped for a while. I didn't realize that they were in this tiny little area. I thought that maybe it's like the entrance is over there, a rock's fallen down there.
Yeah,
they're in a bedroom and they can walk around, they can lie down, they can stretch. I didn't realize that it is literally claustrophobia on steroids.
Yeah, it sounds like they can barely move.
Yeah, I didn't realize that that's how bad it was.
It was bad.
Yeah, so bad.
Because they're still in the cage of the...
Yes, it's just a cage.
It's still in the cherry picker.
It's a small
Cherry
cage.
pickers aren't big.
Oh, and it only goes up to their waist. It's not very big.
Yep.
And so they don't know what's happened to the driver.
No, they've yelled out to him. They can't hear it. They haven't heard anything back.
All
Yep. As for food, it was pretty slim pickings. Brant had a muesli bar with him, which he offered
wow, that's lucky.
Offered to cut in half and share with Todd, which is very nice.
Very nice. You know what? I'm not a big muesli bar fan.
Really?
So I'd probably be like, I'm okay.
I'm good.
You really?
It'd be wasted on me.
Yeah. Don't
I
like
wonder
them.
what kind it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
2006, it wouldn't have been any of those. It wouldn't have been like one of the Carmen's ones with the 10 grams of protein
It's
or
probably
anything.
a pretty crappy Uncle Toby's.
Yeah.
Because you get those ones that are like oats and chocolate chips. You're like, this isn't healthy. This isn't really...
It's got oats.
Yeah, they're nice though.
They are not, yeah.
Is there genuinely anything that you'd be starving underground and you'd be like, I don't want to eat that. I hate it so much.
Honestly, yeah.
Muesli bar?
Most things.
Most things? Most
Most things.
I mean, there's some stuff that I just can't get. Like, I'm not big into like seafoody. Like, just
yeah.
I'm not very adventurous with food.
Imagine if it was like oyster. Yeah.
Oh God! Thank goodness! I've just remembered I've got a bag of spaghetti marinara in my pocket.
That is the funniest choice you could have made. Spaghetti marinara.
Look, I would probably go for that, but like I watch. I've been watching Alone Australia.
Yeah.
You guys watch that? But I don't know, the idea of just eating like a raw animal meat or like cooking, processing animals.
You found half a rabbit's carcass or something.
No,
I'm good.
I wouldn't be. It'd be a while before I'd get that desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't eat meat, so yeah.
But I love Jess's standards are so high. She's like, muesli bar. Nah.
Yeah, I know. Because again, I'd be assuming we're here for a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's
I'll be hungry.
I'll
but
get
I'll
out
get
and I'll be
over
like, I really regret eating that muesli bar.
I can still, it's still in my teeth.
Have you got any floss?
I hate the.
That's so funny.
I wish I liked them. I don't like I don't like oats. I hate the taste.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it's really annoying.
I love oats.
I hate them.
I love them too.
Me and Matt used to get our like lunch when we were at work. We would always go to the cafe down the road, and we get they did like porridge with honey and banana. Great, big fan.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing it.
What?
Why would you do that?
So
we were in there like
going.
every day getting that, and
item.
then they took it off their menu. And there was a little while there where we were like ordering off menu because we knew them. We were like, can you still get it? Can you still do the porridge? And they did it for a bit, but...
And then one day they have to be like, Evan, we can't be bothered doing this.
Ultimately they went out of business, and I think it's because they took the porridge off the menu.
Yeah.
I mean...
But it's also like, do you think at any stage they were like, we're kind of sick of these two dickheads coming in?
They were trying to get rid of us.
Yeah. I'd take that personally.
And then they were like, the only way to get out of this, we've got to pack up the whole business. We've got to fake a bankruptcy.
We got to go. Let's just move.
I'm still friends with one of them on Facebook. That's weird, right?
Send a message. Do you know if they own another cafe now?
I don't think they do.
Go find them. And order the porridge.
Yeah, order the porridge.
Yeah.
Go around to their place
Chase
and
it
porridge.
down.
So they've got one muesli bar split in half. Initially, they agreed to wait 24 hours to eat it. But
That's smart. I was going to ask how long until you pull it out. You know,
I'd be like,
you wait until you're hungry.
a couple of hours.
They waited 24 hours.
They said 24 hours, but they continually extended the time until they decided to finally eat it 4 days later.
4 days?
On April 29.
Oh, my God.
We're lying there for that food for 4 days.
4 days.
Then they ate small pieces of the bar at a time to make it last as long as possible. However, Todd Russell later lost a large portion of his half when it fell out of his pocket.
That'd be devastating. Oh, man.
He'd be so upset. And Brant would be like, you just lost my fucking muesli bar.
Oh, my God. I mean, I feel devastated if I'm just eating like a normal meal and I drop a little bit and the dog's got to eat it off the floor.
Yeah.
That hurts me.
But the dog is stoked.
The dog couldn't be happy.
But does it hurt you to see the dog enjoying it?
Yeah. Evan hates that dog.
That's why I got the food. I want to eat all the food.
Yeah. That's my food.
Yeah.
This is all the food you have in the world.
Yeah.
And you're hungry.
That would be
4 days without eating.
Man,
and then you drop it.
Soul crushing.
Harrowing.
Yeah. Almost as soul crushing as the rock crushing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man. 4 days.
Evan, let me tell you, it's going to get worse.
4 days.
I still have no idea how long they were in there for in the end. But 4 days sounds, I really didn't think it would be that long.
4 days, yep.
All right.
Well, they also extended their light by taking the battery out of Todd's smashed cap lamp and carefully they used a lighter for lighting this and then putting it into Brant's. So they had another battery, which is clever. So they're
clever, yeah.
They're good at obviously surviving as best they can.
Good problem solving.
For 6 whole days they lay there.
Wow.
They could hear man-made explosions going on, knowing that was the rescue effort.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You'd be pretty pissed if you thought they were still mining.
Just carry on. That would be encouraging. Like you're hearing, if you heard nothing, you'd eventually you'd just go insane, right? But if you're hearing something, you'd be like, all right, that's progress.
Someone's coming, and
there's hope, right? It gives you hope.
They're yelling out, they're banging on the metal cage with tools, just trying to let people know that hey, we're over here, we are alive. Also, they wanted them to be careful to not trigger another collapse because they're hearing explosives, and they're like, holy shit, man, we're like in a house of cards here. You can't be setting off explosives. Using a pen to write on the legs of his overalls, Todd wrote down the time and date from his watch of every explosion so that if rescuers did trigger a collapse and later found their bodies, they would know how long they'd been alive for and what it had triggered the...
Wow. He's very smart.
Wow. Yeah, right. Okay. So, right. Okay. Wow.
So it'd be like, April 29, 10:43 a.m. explosion. Yeah. And they'd later find that his overalls and be like, holy crap, they were still alive until the 29th.
Yeah, wow.
On his other leg, Todd wrote a goodbye letter to his family, which was understandably one of the hardest things he ever had to do in there. To keep up morale, they sang a song. Remember, they're pretty different. Pretty different guys. They don't have too much crossover with what music they like. There's only one song they both knew the words to, and Jess seems to be trying to remember it. Do you know what it was?
No, I don't. Maybe if you gave me a clue.
It is a Kenny Loggins classic. They kept singing The Gambler.
Oh.
You gotta know when to hold 'em.
Know when to fold 'em.
That's the only song they both know all the words to.
Yeah, wow.
So they just start singing it, like, just blaring at the top of their lungs, having a bit of fun.
I like that they're going through, like, their little catalogues in their brain of, do you know this song?
Yeah.
Do you know this song?
How long would it take to get to that?
Yeah. Don't know if there's many songs I know all the words to.
Mary had a little... Surely you know this one.
Nah, nothing.
Nothing?
Don't know that one.
What was your childhood?
Do you know Missy Higgins' Scar? I know that one.
Oh, no, I know the special too.
Oh.
Damn. 2 great tracks.
I'm trying to think of songs I know all the words to, and Scar is one of them, I think.
Right. I can't think of many at all.
Which I don't feel.
Even if you could just be like, hey, do you want to do the chorus of, I don't know, Mr. Brightside? We all know that. Just do the chorus. We don't have to know the verse.
And honestly, if my husband's taught me anything, it's that you don't have to know the lyrics to songs.
Make it up to a bit of like that.
Yeah. In fact, you don't have to hear any lyrics to songs.
And then you go, Brant, freestyle. I'm like...
Dave, I'd love to be stuck underground with you.
Imagine you're stuck with someone whose hobby is beatboxing.
Let me show you what I can do.
Sorry, when I get nervous, I beatbox.
Oh, that'd be great.
So they're like over and over, they're singing The Gambler by Kenny Loggins over different times throughout the day, which I love. It's such a great visual.
Really ruining the song for themselves, though, in the future.
Oh, my gosh.
If they do survive this, you'd be like, I never want to hear that song again.
Traumatic.
Yeah, it would really bring you back there. What they didn't know, and probably fortunately for them right at this stage, is that a remote-controlled earth mover had been clearing the rock underground on their level, and on day 2, the body of Larry Knight had been discovered and retrieved.
I forgot that Larry.
Yeah, tragically, he was only 44.
Oh.
And I remember they'd done the coin toss. And
yeah.
That's. I thought what you were going to say was what they didn't know is that they could hear their singing.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they were tone deaf. I had a really vague memory of them finding Larry and he was having some sort of medical episode and they got him out, but he did not make it.
No, Sad. I think he'd been killed in the initial rockfall.
Oh, which, I mean, horrific. The whole thing is awful and such a tragic loss, but in some ways you go, if he went quickly.
Yeah, if you want to, if you are going to go in this situation, you want it to happen.
Yeah.
At the start.
Like, not that he was there in pain, slowly dying. Yeah. That would be horrific.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. That sucks.
Tragic. And they didn't know each other, but they both knew and had worked with Larry.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah.
So it's very sad for them in particular. After his body had been found, the area was turned into a crime scene for investigation, just standard protocol. So mining inspectors were put in place throughout the mine. And basically, it sort of slowed down the rescue a little bit because they had to sort of now treat it as a crime scene as well as a rescue
because someone had died.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I guess they're doing like someone dies at work. There's an investigation.
Sure,
what's happened here?
Get work safe down there. Yeah.
So on the 925 level, which is where they'd entered, and Larry and Todd and Brant had been working, one of the mine inspectors was stationed to prevent anyone going in at that level because that's where they'd found Larry. A couple of miners who were mates of the trapped men were pretty keen to get in and have a look. Now, they weren't allowed in there, but the miner who was the inspector said he was having a coffee and I'll be back in 15 minutes, sort of a wink, wink.
Yeah, right.
Now, you boys.
Yeah, you don't you go in there.
You are not allowed down here and you know that.
Yeah,
now, off you go.
Off you go.
I'm going to the tea room and I'm going to have a cup of tea at a bicky. Maybe use the little boys' room.
No one's going to be here looking for about 15 minutes, so don't you come in.
Now, I don't want to come back and find that you're having a little cheeky gander. Off I go.
That is exactly what. So meanwhile,
and then one of them turns to the other and goes, "Well, I guess we can't look."
Yeah, gosh. You heard him.
You heard him. The other one's like, "You are the densest motherfucker."
So meanwhile, he's off for a break. Two miners at their own extreme risk went into 925 to investigate and, quote, do a risk assessment. So they described it. They were about to do another blast, and they later found out that this possibly could have killed Todd and Brant because they were getting closer and closer, and that they've got this precarious rock situation above them.
But they know that, they know Todd and Brant didn't come out.
Yep.
So, yeah, why would you be so cavalier with more explosives? I guess because they found Larry dead and it's been several days.
I think it's been 4 days and they're starting to think. I think part of the logic is we're really running out of time here. We have to find these men. If they're in there, I guess it's a calculated risk.
At this point, they're expecting to recover bodies, not it's not a rescue.
Pretty, at the time you'd be like, this is pretty unlikely that they're going to find these guys alive, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily assume that they've got air and most of them easily bar.
Yeah.
And water. Like you wouldn't assume that they'd be living.
Yeah.
I mean the chances that they aren't crushed to begin with, and then the chances that they've been able to survive this long is pretty slim.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually unbelievable.
Yeah.
That they're able to survive. So, and they're oblivious to people being so close because they're surrounded by so much rock. They're basically in what they felt like was a soundproof room.
Yeah. It must be meters, just a few meters away, right?
Yeah, they're just a few meters away.
Yeah.
And they were lying there loudly singing The Gambler. You got to know when to hold 'em. When Todd thought he heard something, so he told Brant, shut the fuck up. And Brant's like, what? He's like, I think I heard someone. He yelled out, is anyone there? And these are the rescuers that have come closer.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe it, and they reportedly collapsed with joy when they heard the trapped men's voices respond. They both yelled, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, my God.
So they know that they're alive and that the people have found them. So one of the rescuers yells out, can we get you anything? And Todd responded, can you get us the fuck out of here?
Not a bad point from Todd.
And everyone laughed.
And Todd's the serious one.
He's the serious one too.
Oh, yeah, I'd love a Pepsi Max and to get the fuck out of here.
That's good stuff. So
That's great.
There was quite a bit of humour like that, sort of ribbing, gentle ribbing each other.
Yeah.
Well, because obviously the whole thing's just horrific, but that would be a moment of just elation that someone can hear you and that you're talking to your mate and they know you're alive.
Hey, this is Josie Santee from the Every Girl podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dressed season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and your everyday wardrobe, discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy, too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
Hi guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. With summer around the corner, I wanted to tell you guys how I'm staying comfy and stylish. Lululemon is my secret weapon. There are plenty of copycats out there, but nothing compares to the Lululemon fabrics and fit. I've literally had my pair of Lululemon leggings since college. And I'm out of college. I know I don't look it, but I am. The quality is next level. I especially love the Lululemon Align collection. It's made with this weightless, buttery soft Nulu fabric that feels like next to nothing. It's so soft. Whether you're in Align pants, shorts, a bra, tank, skirt, a dress, you get nonstop flexibility in every direction so you can stretch the summer limits. Align even wicks sweat. And as a sweaty girl, I love this. You know it's going to be my best friend when I play tennis this summer. Shop the Align collection online at lululemon.com or your nearest Lululemon store.
So it was great news. The two men were safe after 6 days, particularly for their anxious families waiting at home.
6 days.
And a later interview with one of their wives had talked about, it must have been Todd's wife because he's got 3 kids. Like there was a mixture of in the family, some of them were like, Dad's alive. Another one was like, I don't think Dad's there anymore. And it was like this extremely emotional 6 days. Yeah. One of the kids kept going to school because they needed a distraction from the round-the-clock worry.
Yeah.
But very long 6 days for them in particular, and they were informed that, hey, they're alive in there. And by this time, the meteor storm outside the mine had exploded.
Yeah.
Now, if you weren't in Australia at the time, it is hard to describe, but it was huge news, and it's all anyone could talk about.
Front page of all. Okay, this is how I know it was 2006 because I was about to say front page of newspapers.
Yeah.
And you know that's a big deal.
I'm not looking at fucking newspapers now. So I must have been living at home where newspapers were.
Yes.
Front page of newspapers, main story, and probably the only story on most news channels.
Yeah, like the morning shows are all now based in Tasmania to be like covering it. Like
everyone went to Tassie. Great for Launceston.
Oh, huge. Interviewing all their old, people that know them, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All that sort of bullshit.
And now they've been found against the odds alive after 6 days. It became worldwide news.
Yep.
Like it was, now worldwide coverage. And I'm wondering if people from overseas do remember it.
Yeah, maybe from that point on, where they were found alive.
Were the media they were, I guess, up at the surface level. They weren't like down there.
No, they couldn't get down there.
And they weren't communicating with them.
No, but at the top of the mine, there's all the satellite trucks.
Yeah.
Broadcast trucks are all there.
Yep.
Like it became like a mini city.
Yeah.
Some people estimate that the town population had basically doubled from 3,500. Like it was huge news.
Caravan park couldn't handle it.
Licking their lips.
They're like, oh, bloody hell.
I think there were 3 pubs back then. Now there's only one left in the area. But
last pub in town.
Everyone was asking, how are they going to get them out?
Yeah.
And knowing they were alive, actually,
and you really don't want to kill them.
And that is
such a good point, Evan.
But that is exactly what happened, because knowing they were alive actually ground the rescue to a halt, because authorities were aware that if they made the wrong move, it could cost the men their lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing where, like, if it's like, well, they might be alive or they might not be.
Yeah,
you're there blowing it up. Then you're like, well, what can you do?
Exactly.
But if they're alive, it's like this is
now we've got to be really careful.
Yeah, we've got to get there before they starve, and now we know they're there. Okay, let's all relax a bit.
Yeah,
let's
slow this down. Let's do this proper.
And they had 25 people in the control room on the ground, painstakingly going through all the details of potential rescue plans, all the pros, all the cons, trying to figure out the safest way to do it.
Yeah,
but that takes time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Later,
they're doing DRAs, dynamic risk assessments.
Yeah.
Okay, they're ever changing. Okay.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting stuff.
Would have had so many engineers down there.
Right? Yeah. A room full of bloody engineers. Fantastic.
And some people come up with crazy plans like, all right, what we need is a nuclear weapon. We need to explode this mine.
Okay, what we're going to do is
Go with me on this.
We're going to put a Captain America shield hand it to them. They just hold it above them. And then we just blow the shit up.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They will be fine. I've seen the movie.
It's made of uranium or whatever the fuck it's made of. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Later on, one rescuer found a direct route to the trapped miners across the rubble in the side tunnel. He was actually able to get close enough to the basket of the telehandler to shake Todd Russell's hand.
Whoa.
This was where a remote control loader had got to the back of the teleloader, but the route was deemed unsafe for rescuing them because there was just too much rubble around that could potentially collapse on them and the rescuers.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can get close here, but if I move this little bit here, the whole
you don't
thing
want to put
collapse.
a whole bunch of other people at risk.
Yeah, mine manager Matthew Gill told the media, "We have carefully and seriously considered the option of going through this way to get Todd and Brant, along with all the other options. Attempting to come through the back of the telehandler is seen as a very unsafe option, both for the rescuers and for Todd and Brant." So that's pretty frustrating, though. If you can literally shake a hand, you're close enough to touch another human, but you just can't get through that wall.
Oh, brutal.
Todd and Brant had passed on as many details of their position as possible, including how far the basket was extended during the collapse, so the rescuers could calculate exactly where they were. The rescuers then drilled 5 metres below the men and then created a narrow shaft up to them, which they fitted with a PVC pipe so they could send supplies up to them.
Yeah, right.
Everything was sent. It was so small, everything was sent inside a Mount Franklin 600ml plastic water bottle. And it would just go up and down.
But it's got to go up, so you got to put the bottle in and then go like
on a mini golf course.
Yeah, I assume. How else would it go up?
I think it's, yes. I think it was a series of pulleys. Pulley, / someone going, So they were sent medical supplies with which Brant was able to treat the injury to Todd's leg with advice from paramedics.
Oh.
And they were able to communicate because the telephone was sent through in pieces in a plastic bag with a screwdriver and instructions on how to put it back together.
Oh, my God.
And from this point on, they basically had one of them on the phone at all times.
Yeah.
So one might lie down for a rest and the other one would stay on the phone. Sadly, they couldn't call home and speak to their families.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, I assumed you would.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, this is what they say, is that they were worried the media were tapping the lines.
Fuck.
So
well, just give the wives the other phone. Like, you're speaking to them mobile to mobile. I reckon the girls probably aren't at work. Probably bring them down and hand them the phone for a sec.
Yeah.
That's just my idea.
Bizarre.
So they sent letters back.
If I was one of those wives, I'd be fucking storming that place.
I don't give a shit if the media hears this. I want to go talk to them in case they die. They also sent letters. So they sent letters back and forth to their families instead. And these were monitored by psychologists before they went down to make sure there was nothing that would trigger the men. And my theory is actually that they can control a letter, but they can't control what, your 6-year-old says on the outside that might cause you to have a bit of a mental collapse.
True.
Like, Daddy, I miss you so much or whatever, and you're like, have a panic attack.
Yeah, okay.
Actually,
that's my theory.
No, you're right. Okay. You're absolutely right.
But with a letter, they can read it and go, this is too much. This could really upset them.
Them even speaking to their wives, even a step before the kids. The kids would break them, but even talking to their wives. Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
My mum's best friend was in Christchurch at a medical convention when the earthquake hit. And we're watching it on the news like, oh, wow, earthquake in Christchurch. That looks bad. And my mum just goes white and she's like, Kay's there. And we're like, fuck. Get on to her husband. We had eventually heard from her she was okay. Kay is a very tough, no bullshit woman. I absolutely adore her. And she eventually got extracted. She got out. And Mum and Dad were at the airport when she landed back in Melbourne. This was several days later, and it was a horrific time. The hotel she was in was destroyed, and it was terrible.
Yeah, wow.
And some of her colleagues had to. There was a story of somebody, a urologist, amputating someone's leg to get them out of rubble. And they were a urologist. They were not a surgeon, but she was small and she could get in to do it.
Right.
While a surgeon was on the outside
instructing.
Oh
my God.
And they saved the person. It was a horrific time. That's not a surprise to anybody, particularly New Zealanders. Anyway, she gets back and she's this very tough, stoic woman. But as soon as she saw her husband, she just broke. Right? Because it's you're holding on for so long and then there's this person that represents safety to you and you can just let go because they've got you now. And so it would have to be, from a psychology point of view, why they would withhold speaking to their family because you're still stuck and then you hear your kids, it would be awful.
Yeah.
It would be so hard to hear.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. But on a logical level, as humans on the outside, we're like, let them talk to their families.
Please, this could be the last time they ever speak to them.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's is it going to do more harm than good? Because we don't know how long they're going to be in there for.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I said earlier that I've been watching Alone.
Yeah.
Australia. And so many of them end up giving up because they just miss their family too much. It's they go in there being like, I can do this. I'm going to stay the longest. I'm going to stay for 3 months. I'm going to stay for a year. And I think all of them would go in being like, well, as long as I've got food and water, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But some of them, even if they, it's not the food thing. It's not they've got water and they've got shelter and stuff. It's hard, but they can survive.
Yeah.
But so many of them are just like, fuck this, I need to see my family, I need to see my kids, I'm and I guess that's a situation obviously where they're making the choice to be there. They have the option to just be like, nah, I'm out of here.
These guys don't get to just leave. Yeah.
That's usually what it is that they just miss their family so much. I don't know if it would help if they could talk to their family. I feel like it would make it worse.
Maybe,
I really do think it would make it worse if you could talk to them.
I did a real 180 there because I was like, get the fucking wives on the phone. And I'm like, actually, I can see that.
I felt mad. I'm like, just because I was thinking, what if it is the last time they ever and they missed the opportunity to say,
oh man, it's a tough call. I don't know.
I would be storming the place.
But they're actually really monitoring them to the point that Todd asked for a photo of his family as they'd recently taken family photos. Yeah. And when he was first crushed, he said the thing that gave him the will to live, he was like, like praying. He was in so much pain, covered in rock. He was like, I hope I go soon. And then he sees the image of the family photo that they'd taken recently, and that's when he started like trying to break out.
Stop it.
But a psychologist wouldn't let him have the image, worrying how it would affect his mental health. But they did get fresh clothes sent to them every day. And on the rescue...
In a Mount Franklin.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild?
Well, you can really see it just proves, people say, roll your clothes when you're packing. They say that. They say you get more space out of it, and I think they might be right.
I did say 600 mil now. Maybe it was a big Mount Franklin, but still like
1.25 litre.
It must be a big one, right? But on the rescue team was one of Todd's close mates, a guy called Dean Mackerel, that he calls Macca, who one day...
I love Australians.
So good. Who got on the phone after sending through some fresh tracksuit pants, and Dean told Todd to check his pockets, and inside he'd smuggled in a small photo of the family. And then Todd put it about 30 centimeters away from his face up on a rock, it actually did the opposite of what the psychologist was worried about. It gave him strength. He would look at the photo and go, all right, we've got to stay calm.
Here's the thing too, these are miners in their 40s or whatever, like late 30s, 40s. These are the guys down the pub, like, it's completely like surface level conversations or, Maccary's a good bloke, whatever, bah, 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 bah. But then, like, that is so sweet and thoughtful.
Yeah. So nice.
Of like, fuck these guys. He needs a picture of his kids. Yeah. Like, that's really nice.
Yeah, what a legend.
Macca.
They also later sent a digital camera to take some photos of their surroundings so the rescuers could see what they were dealing with. And some of these photos survive, which is it's crazy to see them just sort of surrounded by rubble.
Yeah.
They also got a torch, magazines, deodorant, toothpaste, and iPods, which included requested music from Foo Fighters and the Australian musical comedian Kevin Bloody Wilson. Which is so funny.
Okay, so that tells you what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Do I look like I give a fuck, Dilligaff?
He's like, gotta keep the spirits up.
Yeah, it's so great.
I'd be like, put Carl Barron on one for me. I'll just listen to one of his sets.
When Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters heard of the miners' request to have the band's music sent down on MP3 players, he issued a personal message via fax. What?
It's 2006.
Wow.
So great that they can't talk to their wives, but you can take a fax from Dave Grohl. Grohl's note in part read, though I'm halfway around the world right now, my heart is with you both. And I want you to know that when you come home, there's 2 tickets to any Foos show anywhere and 2 cold beers waiting for you.
Aww.
Deal? Question mark.
That's very nice. And then Brent put that up 30 centimetres from his face.
Yeah, over the top of the family photo.
Said that cold beer, that promise of a cold beer is going to get me through.
I got to tell you that the fax stayed surprisingly silent from Kevin Bloody Wilson.
Wow. Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
As for food, dietitians decided on what they could and couldn't eat to keep them healthy underground. Todd, who is a hunter, remembered that there were some homemade venison sausages in the fridge at home, and he requested some of them along with his mother's homemade relish.
All right.
He was told he couldn't have them, and he joked that he'd be pretty pissed if someone else at home ate them.
Better be there when I get back.
Yeah. But the dietitians were like, no, it's not the right kind of like protein for you right now.
Yeah,
Todd also joked that if he didn't start getting what he wanted, he'd have to go on a hunger strike. So funny.
Todd's really...
They're in good spirits.
Yeah, he's lightening it up.
Yep.
The rescue team eventually negotiated some chips and gravy for the guys. They were really keen on that.
That sounds great.
But they sent the chips down first, and they were so well received that when the gravy arrived a few minutes later in the next drink bottle, the chips were all gone. They were left there dipping their fingers in gravy.
Did they not know the gravy was coming, or they just couldn't help themselves?
I think they were like they described themselves as being like seagulls, being like, just gonna have a bloody chip.
Hot chips.
Hot chips, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and they also loved lemonade icipoles, I hear. They went down a treat.
Oh, they would do, yeah.
Yeah. They were bloody popular.
Especially when it's hot down there. That's refreshing, that is. Chuck us a splice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a splice.
Love a splice.
Pine lime.
Delicious.
I'm trying not to think about what they're sending back in these Mount Franklin bottles. It can't be a pretty picture, right?
Yeah, true.
Apart from the pissing in the helmet, I'm not sure what was going on.
Don't go into that detail.
I think
I didn't find that information anywhere, and I was Googling.
I think there's this is a vague memory, so apologies if I'm wrong here, but I think there were things that they both agreed to never speak about.
Yeah.
In interviews or anything like that, and that might have been one of them, I think.
Yeah. No,
never mention where we shot.
Yeah, and they've been very stringent on that. And fair enough, because that would be quite traumatic for them as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's what, and we laugh about it now, but it would be bloody awful.
Yeah,
and to have that conversation too about, hey, we've been here for 6 days. We got to talk about this.
Okay, I'm a pretty regular guy. I get quite a bit of fibre. Okay, I'm a twice a day kind of guy.
I love muesli.
All right, so we're gonna have to come to some sort of agreement.
No, that's why the dietitians were like, you can't have venison sausages.
Yeah, come on, mate.
That's going to be rank.
That's going to go straight through you.
Yeah, no.
I'm looking after Brant here.
They're doing that thing that they're rumoured to do on planes where they're like sneaking Imodium into their food.
Yeah.
Imodium?
Anti-diarrhea stuff.
Oh, right.
There's stories about that apparently they do that on planes.
Kind of clogs you up.
To clog people up. So they keep out the toilet.
That's fair.
Keep them out of the toilet.
Can't clog me.
Good luck.
Like to see you try. Like clockwork.
Yeah. I've had 14 of your passes and I feel fucking great.
Now, excuse me, I need to get out to the bathroom. I say that as I board a plane. I make eye contact with the pilot and I say, you cannot clog me.
You cannot clog me.
You will not clog me.
Welcome aboard, ma'am.
It's row 42B.
So that's them underground. Of course, the rescue effort's going 24/7. It was decided to use a raise borer, which is like a boring tunnel machine, to cut a horizontal tunnel 1 metre or 3 by 3 feet in diameter. Cutting horizontal with this machine had never been attempted before anywhere in the world.
Perfect.
Wow.
Now's the time.
Okay, yeah.
Let's try.
But I think it cuts a hole, but also it's wide. You know how they're able to pretty easily do the one for the tube to go up so they can... but that's only small enough for a drink bottle to go through. I think they need like a proper 1 metre square.
Yeah. I'm picturing what they use to bore tunnels for trains. Like, they're building a new metro in Melbourne at the moment. Like those sort of like
that's what
tunnel boring machines, like a mini version of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Totally.
And again, these aren't small
and
men.
it hadn't been done horizontal. So what? It's been used to, I guess, drill down into the ground
I think usually
something.
this thing apparently is going down.
Gone down.
You want to get deep.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to go sideways, but all right.
Yeah, sure. I think that's what they're thinking too. They're like, okay, let's give it a crack.
Let's give it a go.
The plan was to bore horizontally from 930 metres, so 5 metres below them, come up underneath the guys and extract them from below.
Yeah. Because surely the biggest risk is messing with whatever's on top of them and causing that to crush down more.
Yeah, because they're on the ground they're on, that's solid.
Yeah, okay.
Because, they've driven in on that. But the
so
walls
going in under,
and the roof, that's like rubble.
Yeah.
So you don't want to disturb that. So we'll go in below, go through what's the floor to them, the roof for us, and we'll bring them down.
Cool.
How
This
do you
sounds smart, I reckon.
I know, but
I'm on board for
I'm
this.
always picturing like tunnels that you can only just fit in. So then I'm like, okay, they've come up underneath them. How do you
maneuver?
How do you get? Is it like a slide? But then do you get stuck at some point? I don't want to think about it.
Oh yeah, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
It was painstaking, and constantly the guys were told they'd be out in about 48 hours.
Wow,
but this 48 hours just kept ballooning out.
I mean, even 48 hours is a long...
I know. If you got told that, I'd be like, holy shit.
Settle in,
I think that was also a psychology thing to be like, it's only 48 hours, and then 48 hours would go, and they go, guys, it's only going to be another 48 hours.
Yeah.
And that just kept ballooning out. According to the Beaconsfield Mine manager, Matthew Gill, the quartz rock which was drilled through was 5 times harder than concrete.
Yeah, quartz is, that's one of the hard ones.
So it's, you have been in a mine. This guy, I'm so glad we got you on this episode.
I don't know much.
Harder than diamonds? Couldn't be.
Couldn't be.
Couldn't be.
This week, I've been drilling through concrete. This is something I've never done before in my life.
What for?
To put in
shits and gigs?
Yeah, it's just as fun. No, I've been doing it to put in some more like security cameras around the building, so nobody break into stupid old studios.
Yeah,
okay?
That's right. We got concrete.
If you're listening, crooks.
We're secure. We got cameras. No, I just needed to run a cable through the concrete wall. I needed to drill through concrete. And it's hard.
Were you just using like a small? How thick was it? A small drill piece? least?
So I started off using like our regular drill that we had, and I was just like, I'll just get like a bloody cement, like a concrete drill bit.
Yeah, perfect.
And drill through. And it's not, you just can't do it. So I had to go out and buy a hammer drill and like a proper like SSTF
a driver or something.
Like a proper like a hammer drill, and then you can get proper drill bits that are much bigger and
right, yeah, and then you put your whole weight behind it.
Well, apparently you're not supposed to.
Oh, right.
This is what I was reading the guide. You let it do the work, but because it's I guess like hammering and drilling at the same time.
Okay, right. Maybe you don't want to slip with that thing. You're like leaning on it.
It's amazing how much of a difference it makes, though. Like what was taking me like several minutes, and I ran out of battery trying to do it like with a regular drill. You get the proper gear, and it's just like out through. I used it for like 5 seconds. I'm like, well, that's the job done. I spent like $100 on a hammer drill. I'm like, well, that's.
Can you return that?
No, I'm addicted to it now. I can drill anything now.
You're like walking up to concrete and just having a go.
Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't be doing that. We don't own this building, but it's it feels so empowered.
Yeah,
now.
you feel powerful.
I can put anything anywhere,
and it's satisfying when you get it. Like you get DIY done. I've done very little, but even when I've painted something, I'm like, I did that.
Yeah, I used to have to pay someone else to do this. I used to have to pay someone with all the proper gear and all the proper bloody, the ear muffs and the eye goggles.
Yeah.
Turns out you don't need any of that. You can just do it yourself.
It's crazy.
Evan just did it shirtless with thongs on.
I've just Googled it, and diamonds are harder than concrete. But again, it's the AI overview, so that could be wrong.
No, they are, because sometimes you have concrete-tipped drills.
I never had any doubt that diamond was harder than concrete, personally.
And then, because you used... isn't that one of the, like, practical uses of diamonds, because it's the hardest substance that you can...
Yeah, that's why you get like diamond-tipped drill bits and that sort of thing.
And they can like drill through a safe or something.
Yeah. But so what is...
Cool.
But,
it's cool, isn't it?
But diamond's harder than quartz? Do you know if...
Let's find it. Well, then I had to change it to, is moissanite harder than concrete?
Moissanite?
Yeah, my ring is moissanite, not a diamond.
Oh.
And I wanted to know if this was tough.
Okay.
And it is also harder than concrete.
But is it harder than diamond?
No.
Okay.
It's just under diamond.
Diamond's got to be the...
Diamond's
Is it the hardest substance?
I think so.
Maybe.
Well, there you go.
Probably is it the hardest natural substance?
Yes, it'd be one of those. Is diamond harder than quartz? Quartz, yes. In terms of the Mohs hardness scale.
I was going to say there's got to be some scale for this.
Mohs, I can't remember how you say it. Diamond is actually 16 times harder than quartz.
Good Lord. Well, lucky they're not stuck in a diamond mine.
And quartz is 5 times stronger. Thicker than harder than concrete.
Yeah.
So 16 times 5. Oh my god.
Ooh, it's a lot going on.
So 80 times.
Yeah.
Diamond is 80 times.
Diamond's very hard.
Well, than concrete.
I wonder if they're using diamond-tipped tools to cut through this quartz.
Yeah.
Maybe they were. I'm not sure what the drill they're using is made of. But the drill was capable of drilling through it at 1 meter per hour.
Okay.
But it was going much more slowly because of the danger of further rock falls. They had to back it off a bit. They only did about 0.5 meter per hour. Okay. And they drilled for something like 90 hours straight.
So they're quite far away from them then, I suppose.
From the edge of 930, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they've gone down...
Yeah, they've gone down and they're drilling all the way across underneath them.
Yeah.
And then they're going up.
Oh, yeah, shit. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And on the 7th of May, the rescuers reached a belt of hard rock that they found difficult to penetrate. As the jackhammers they were using had little effect, they decided that they were going to have to revert to using low-impact charges. That is, little explosives.
Explosives, fuck.
Todd and Brant were told of the plan and were not happy about having, quote, explosions under their ass.
Yeah.
Especially Todd being the explosion guy.
Yeah, they'd know about
this
shit, right?
What the fuck? But after having the process explained to them and being reassured that it was low impact, they agreed, but only if they could count down the explosions themselves so they could brace for impact.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's smart, yeah.
So they agreed to it. 20 minutes later, the charge was ready and Todd, being the explosions guy, counted down on the phone, 3, 2, 1, fire. And they both braced. And there was a tiny explosion.
Mm-hmm.
He said, fuck, my shotgun's got more energy than that. But the rescuers freaked out because they had a live camera watching the guys at this point.
All right.
And dust filled the screen. And for a second, they thought that they'd just killed them.
Jesus.
And they were on the phone being like, are you all right? Are you all right? And like, yeah, guys, we're fine.
Bit dusty, but it's all right.
That was weak as piss.
Oh, it'd be so stressful.
Yeah.
Did you say 9th of May?
Yeah.
And when did it start?
So this is the 7th of May, this explosion.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
On the 25th of April.
Anzac Day.
Wow.
That's a long
So it's been
time.
12 days.
Oh, man.
Evan.
Yep.
Evan.
It's
been
fucked.
12 days.
12 days. I guess at least they got, I don't know, sandwiches now.
Yeah, they're getting food now.
You don't want to come out now. You've got fresh trackies and a bucket full of gravy.
You're okay.
Yeah.
There's blood living.
Yeah. And just keep thinking of that overtime, man.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I haven't clocked off. I'm being paid for this. So they needed more explosions, and all in all, they counted down 79 detonations.
Oh my God. And just thinking like each one of them could have been like...
Yeah, they have to brace every time, and each time underneath them, a guy has to like rig it up, get out of there, say, you ready? Ready. 3, 2, 1, explosion. Wait, get up there, rig another one. So this also takes hours.
Yeah. Not getting any sleep through that.
No. No way. Finally, after 14 nights.
Wow.
So they were there for 2 weeks lying down. At 4:27 a.m., rescuers Glenn Burns, Donovan Lightfoot, what a great name.
My God.
And Royce Skill finally reached the man, one of them yelling out, "I can see your light." And when he broke through the ground, which was separating him from the miners, the miner replied, "I can see your light too."
Oh, man.
I can see your light, buddy.
It's too much.
It starts at like a tiny little pinprick. Over the next 45 minutes, the hole got bigger and bigger until it was big enough to get the men out.
Wow.
All in all, they'd been underground for 14 days, 321 hours, or 1.5 million minutes.
Okay. Too far, Dave. Too far.
Someone had done the maths as well.
Yeah. 14 days.
Yeah.
That's too many days.
It's a lot.
2 full weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, 2 weeks of a holiday, I'm getting bored. You know?
Yeah.
2 weeks of this. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Dave, would you like to be stuck underground with me for 2 weeks?
Oh my! Who do you reckon would crack first?
Me, I'd kill you.
Both just die.
I'd murder you.
Oh my gosh!
We'd have a bit of fun though.
Yeah, it would be fun.
There'd be moments.
There'd be funny moments.
Yeah. You're very funny.
I'd say, I gotta take a shit.
Jess, I have to shit.
I have to.
And I'd say, Dave, I already have.
I've done like 4.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Only now you have to shit?
Told you I was regular.
I'm very regular.
man.
You cannot clog me.
Thinking about that, I feel like on the one hand, maybe it's better that they didn't know each other. Like
True.
if I don't know, if they're real close mates, it'd be hard.
The thing, because we're not like, around like friends and family, I can really be myself, but like in public or whatever, I'm always like overly polite.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like cause a scene or whatever, so I'd be there, be like, I'm happy, no, I'm fine, yeah.
Yeah. My leg's broken, but it's no big deal.
If I was there with my wife, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm freaking out here, I'm freaking out. You're seeing the real me. But with a stranger, I'd be like, anyway, no, I'm fine, you okay? No, I'm not hungry, I'm good.
I'm fine. You can finish the rest of that muesli bar. It's all good. Yeah, I think...
Too polite.
I think I would prefer to be with somebody I know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Because then, I would just let loose.
You can be yourself.
You can just relax.
You can be your awful self.
Dave's gotten as close as anyone outside of my immediate family has gotten to the real me.
Yeah?
Yeah. So...
And it was awful. I said, can you put that away?
Dave said, please, this is a professional relationship.
Can you please bring it back up, please? I'd love a fake smile.
Yeah.
I asked how you were. I didn't expect a real answer.
I don't want to know.
Oh, man. So they broke through and they got to them.
So Brant went out first, leaving Todd all alone for 8 minutes, which he said was the longest 8 of the ordeal. But surely someone would have just waited with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't leave him there alone.
That's scary.
Maybe there wasn't
There's
room.
3 rescuers.
I think that maybe they all have to help.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
out.
not all collect. Yeah.
Then it was Todd's turn, and as he left the hole, he reached for his bag of letters his family had sent, as well as the photo that had got him through. Isn't that beautiful?
Stop.
They were then taken back to the crib room, which is like a portable office, usually like a shipping container size sort of thing, which is 325 metres below the ground. And this is where they started their whole shift. You go down to this first.
Oh, yeah.
And their injuries were assessed by paramedics, and they were given a makeshift shower with warm water in barrels. The paramedics didn't want them walking out of the mine and even wanted to sedate the men and put them on stretchers.
Right.
But the men were adamant that they walked into the mine on Anzac Day and they'd be proudly walking out of it now.
Right. Okay.
Especially
Sure.
because it was a media circus.
Yeah.
So there were cameras. It was crazy. They didn't want to be wheeled out and looking, vulnerable or injured or unwell. And maybe also for their own pride, but maybe also for the kids.
Yeah.
And for their wives and stuff, not looking unwell if they're well enough to walk.
It was also just like you've been stuck there for so long.
Let me move
surely,
my legs.
If you're able, if you're physically able, I think that'd be all you would want to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stretch. But it was eventually agreed that they could use wheelchairs. But when they got in, and they were like, fine, fuck it, whatever. But when they got into the lift to go back up to the surface, it was only big enough for Todd and Brant in their wheelchairs. So as soon as the gate closed, they stood up and stacked them in the corner, which is so good.
So good.
To be like, fuck this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when
stop us.
And when they got to the surface, they emerged back wearing a new set of mining gear. They'd been given brand new work gear.
Okay.
And they were pumped up purely by adrenaline. They walked out with their arms above their heads. And there's footage of this online. Obviously, about 5,000 cameras captured this moment. They walked over to the mine. First thing they do, they walk out, arms up. They walk over to the mine board where everyone checks in for work, and they mark their name tags as safe. Because you take it off one board and put it on another, so everyone knows who's underground.
Yeah.
They're safe. They were then embraced by their families.
That's my favourite bit, when they moved the tags.
Yeah.
They discussed doing it and they did it, and it's a really cool moment when you
Yeah,
watch it back.
It's cool.
It's really nice. Very symbolic.
Yeah.
And then the families rush over and they have a beautiful moment. But this was not a private reunion. After 2 ambulances had been called to the mine, word had gotten out and what felt like the whole town had gathered to cheer them on.
Yeah.
And they weren't the only ones waiting for the 2 men. They were told that there was some media interest before getting out, but they did not expect the extent of what they saw. Hundreds of journalists arrived in town to cover the story, transforming Beaconsfield into a busy town.
I mean, it's pretty big news you said 2 ambulances. If the 2 ambulances in Tasmania are both called, it's pretty big news.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck having a car accident at that time. Sorry, we're busy.
I'm having a heart attack. Sorry.
When they got out, they saw dozens of Winnebago and broadcast trucks, and they were like, holy shit. Yeah. They had walked in 2 regular miners and had walked out like world famous. And in Australia, like Jess remembers their names 18 years later.
Yeah.
19 years later.
I'd recognise them in the street.
Really?
I reckon, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a while. They probably look a bit different.
Both were then transported to Launceston General Hospital just after 6 a.m. local time. This is May 9 now. Todd had an injured knee and a damaged vertebra, which put pressure on his sciatic nerve, while Brant had injuries to both knees, several vertebrae, and his neck. So they both had some, they weren't 100% by any stretch.
Those are long-term issues.
Yeah.
They said the lowest point of being in the mine was on about just after they'd been contacted a few days later. They were told Larry didn't get out.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
So they did tell him while they were under there, and that was like, they were really upset by that. The family of their friend Larry Knight, who had tragically died in the collapse, had postponed his funeral in the hopes that his colleagues would be rescued and be able to make it. I know,
Stop it!
Yeah.
And incredibly, they scheduled it for that day. Less than 6 hours after leaving the mine, both Brant and Todd were able to attend and pay their respects.
That's so
amazing?
nice.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And again, it's sort of that same stoicism of, no, we'll walk out. I don't think much would have stopped them from going. Even if the doctors in the hospital were like, you really shouldn't. They'd be like, no, we're
have
going.
to go, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's nice.
Afterwards, the media didn't abate, and there was a bidding war to be the first network to interview them.
Of course.
Yeah.
In the end, the Nine network, Channel 9, secured a deal for $2.6 million.
Wow.
Each?
I think they split that.
Wow.
For a 2-hour special on the night of Sunday, the 21st of May, called The Great Escape.
Huh.
And there was outrage at the time, and there were a couple of articles I found from the time written about this, that the men had to pay tax on their earnings. They're like, it's un-Australian.
Yeah.
They should keep it all after what the boys had been through.
Yeah.
Australia's a funny place.
Yeah.
We love rules, but also, oh mate, that's not on. That's very funny.
The men were in demand. It was a big adjustment for these two, normal guys, with the media following their every move and paparazzi literally appearing at their homes over the first few weeks after the rescue and just taking photos of them in their front yard and stuff.
Horrific.
Yeah, instant celebrities.
Leave their families alone.
There are at least 2 interviews with Australia's 60 Minutes that I found online. In October 2006, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters came through on his word, and he and the Foo Fighters met Brant Webb and his wife, Rachel. Todd was unfortunately unable to be there, but I think Brant was the big fan.
Yeah, right.
He also played Brant an instrumental song he had written called Ballad of the Beaconsfield Miners.
Amazing.
Grohl later said, after the show, we went and got fucking wasted in the hotel bar, and I was like, dude, I promise I'm going to put this on the record. And he came through on that promise too. It was included on the 2007 Foo Fighters album Echoes, Silence, Patience and Grace, which won the Grammy Award for Best Rock Album.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, but it's just like a couple of acoustic guitars. I later read that he played it to Brant, and Brant was like, man, it was so cool, but like, I can also just imagine just a guy, you're in their dressing room, and he's just playing you an acoustic, like, instrumental song.
Yeah.
This one's about you. Bim, 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 bim. Because I knew that he'd written I knew that there was a song called Ballad of the Beaconsfield Miners, I remember that, but I didn't know that it was instrumental.
Yeah.
I just never heard it, and the lyrics are about that. It's just so funny. It's just guitar. I'm just playing it to him, sort of making weird eye contact.
Have you listened to it? Is it a good track?
Yeah, it's like sort of two dueling acoustic guitars sort of thing. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't have the signature Foo Fighters sound, I guess, because he's not singing and it's not rock.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nice little song.
That's nice.
Nice little ditty. Then there was the novelty song 321, which wasn't really a novelty. It was just recorded by the Adelaide band called Unitopia. Todd, Brant and their wives contributed backing vocals to the song that commemorates how many hours they spent underground.
Huh.
Wow.
That's also on Spotify. 321 by Unitopia. And that definitely has some very literal lyrics. Like,
Okay.
they were trapped underground.
Their names were Brant and Todd.
Yeah, seriously, I'll play it to you afterwards. Not far off.
That's great.
Then, of course, there was the telly movie.
Yes.
Produced also for the Nine Network.
Shane Jacobson.
as,
Lockie Holm.
and Brant Webb and Lockie Hume as Todd Russell. Premiering in 2012.
Wow.
It was a ratings
That's
hit.
like the peak of Australian cast. Like you wouldn't really get better than that.
Two big guys.
At that time, Shane and Lockie were,
Oh, big. And it was a ratings hit. An audience of over 1.6 million tuned in.
Wow, you'd kill for that these days.
I know, you couldn't even dream of that. I don't think it's State of Origin gets it.
Do we need another tragedy, do you reckon? No, we'll just go straight to Stan now.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Bali night? No, a Bali bombing thing on Stan.
Oh, there wasn't there? Yes, a dramatisation,
Yeah, no, I don't need to watch that, thanks.
In 2008, comedian, friend of the show and now host of the Irrational Fear podcast, Dan Ilic premiered Beaconsfield the Musical for the Melbourne Fringe Festival.
This is what I thought about when you mentioned. For some reason the only thing I know.
All right.
When you mentioned the Beaconsfield Mine.
You've been around comedy too long, Evan.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That does ring a bell.
Yeah.
It was originally titled Beaconsfield, a musical in A flat minor, which is a pretty good wordplay.
It's pretty good, but I didn't realise someone died, and obviously
so there was backlash from the family of
If
Larry.
everyone lived,
Fair.
if nobody died, you could get away with it, but you can't.
Yeah.
So there was backlash at the time, and the ABC wrote an article which I found saying Illich reportedly made the change out of respect to just the Beaconsfield the Musical. Had a great cast. So it starred Illich himself, Kate McLennan, Robbie McGregor, Toby Trustlove, and Amanda Buckley.
Yeah, wow.
Also went at the Melbourne Comedy Festival the year after.
So that was what, 2008?
2008 for Melbourne Fringe, 2009 for Melbourne Comedy Festival.
A couple of years later.
Yeah.
But you got to draw that line of like, where, it still has to be relevant and in people's memories. But
the thing about the show was, which I didn't see at the time, I hadn't started seeing many shows at that point yet, but I read a review of it saying it was less about making fun of the mine. It was actually more, it took the piss out of the crazy media response.
Yeah.
That was like the media hype at the time. So that is what they were parodying rather than the plight.
Yes.
According to this review anyway.
I mean, I can only imagine like the Today Show, Sunrise, all of these for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Being, there's not much to talk about, and we've got hours of airtime to fill.
We have an exclusive interview with Todd's dentist.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was like that.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine the families would be harassed from day one.
Absolutely.
Like the wife and kids and stuff would be just like, I don't know if they were doing, I presume they weren't doing interviews with the family. Like, I imagine they weren't talking to the media. I don't know, maybe they were.
Maybe.
But yeah, they'd be hounded.
Yeah, horrific.
So it was
they're young kids too. Like, it's
so young.
awful.
And you just like, the poor producers who have to come up with content.
I know.
Around all of this for just days and days and days, and you don't know when it's going to end or how it's going to end.
Yeah.
It would be, there'd be, there's plenty there to take the piss out of.
Yeah. So I think that's more what they were going for. But of course, there's headlines probably from the similar media people being like, outrage, there's a comedy musical making fun of the miners. But it's like, actually, we're making fun of you.
Yeah. It's not the miners. A-flat minor, though, is pretty funny.
It's a good joke.
Oh, it's very funny.
But yeah, when you go, no, someone died. And it was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see both sides.
Yeah. It's when you think about it, it's a real shame that someone died.
Yeah.
I know,
So they couldn't do that joke.
That's the real tragedy here.
Because it's a great wordplay. It really is.
Yeah.
From our perspective as comedy creators. That's the real tragedy.
Long term, it should be noted that Todd Russell especially has been very open about suffering PTSD and depression since being rescued, and he's had a lot of help from psychologists. You can hear the story and his personal struggles in his own words on the ABC podcast I Was Actually There, where he was recently interviewed on the Nova podcast Head Game as well. So you'll notice that there's lots of other articles that I've referenced as well there in the show notes, but that's probably more why I say more from Todd's perspective than Brant. He seems to have done less media over the years since.
Yep. Okay.
That's Brant. So
Todd did I Was Actually There, but Brant didn't.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They shot that show. They shot that show here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Maybe not the episode. It's for the same guys that do You Can't Ask That, and so it's like the set is like just a backdrop that they can set up anywhere.
Yep.
So for Melbourne ones, they shot here in a studio.
Awesome.
But I'm not sure which episode.
All right. Yeah. So I believe there's the TV show, and then they also added that long because they obviously interviewed him for many hours.
Yeah.
They've cut together this podcast that's like. It's like in his own words. There's no interview questions. It's just so that's fascinating.
Interesting. Yeah, I should listen to that.
So yeah, that's definitely a great listen.
I assume they didn't work again. They're getting like more than $1 million out of these like interview deals and stuff. They would never have to work again.
Surely there's got to be like a work cover thing involved.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like did they go back to work?
I think that they definitely didn't go back mining.
Yeah.
One of them in the years after had been back down once since. But in one of the 60 Minutes interviews, Brant was like, they take them back to the top of the mine and they're having a chat to them. And he goes, even standing here, I feel uneasy.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm like, yeah, I totally get that. But then there's a few kind of gross articles that I didn't want to, like from like the Daily Mail about like, what are they up to now? And it's like, Brant's like, he's working 4 jobs. He's delivering food. He's doing all this sort of stuff. But you never know if they're actually telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I believe that they've both done a bit of motivational speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they're in, and they've also written a book as well with another writer.
Yep.
So.
I thought I had heard probably slightly more recently that they aren't really talking to each other.
There was another article about on the dailymailnews.com.au
Daily Mail, don't worry about it.
That had said like they're no longer mates or something because there was like a 10-year anniversary like celebration / dinner and drinks kind of thing, and it said they arrived separately and it was all these things, and I was like trying to read between the lines like, are they actually not talking or are they just
They don't live together.
Why would they arrive
together? And also,
together?
they weren't friends beforehand.
No, but they both lived. They both spent the money they made, like that they were paid for the interview. At the time, they both built houses in the area. Like they didn't move away.
Okay.
They were both like they bought a bit of land outside of Beaconsfield, but they both stayed local.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
at the time anyway, but obviously it's nearly 20 years now, so
they don't have to live in each other's pockets forever.
Yeah,
but they've shared something hugely traumatic and there'd be a bond over that.
Yes.
But they don't have to be best friends.
No, and they give each other a lot of credit for getting through it.
Yeah,
because of they had each other.
But also imagine you've got very understandably PTSD and a lot of trauma around being in such a horrific setting. There could be comfort in each other, but also probably a bit of a reminder.
Oh, of course. Yeah, the only association you have with that person is that horrible traumatic experience, the worst experience of your life.
It's probably also fine to be like, love you, mate, so glad you're okay, do need some space.
Yeah.
Your face is actually very triggering for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I was like, I thought I'd heard they weren't talking. But then you go, it's a Daily Mail thing. You go, don't worry about it. It's bullshit.
Yes,
then.
I couldn't. Yeah, because I was, to be honest, I was fascinated to know what their relationship is like. But yeah, it was hard to see what it's actually like.
Exactly.
The whole affair also put future politician at the time and almost Prime Minister of Australia, Bill Shorten, on the national stage.
Oh.
He was National Secretary of the Australian Workers' Union at the time, and he played a role as a negotiator and commentator on developments in the immediate aftermath and the ensuing rescue operations.
Uh-huh.
And he had a real rise in profile in the media during this time. He was doing lots of interviews. He's out there every day talking to the media, and he was elected to Parliament the year later after this raise in profile, 2007, and he only retired a few months ago. So
there you go.
Really changed his trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just finally, after an inquest in 2009, the Tasmanian coroner Rod Chandler ruled that no one person or company was responsible for the death of Larry Knight in the Anzac Day rockfall. But he says there were, quote, serious deficiencies in the miner's risk management, end quote, in the lead up to the collapse. The mine itself closed in 2012, which is a big reason that the population's gone from 3,500 to less than 1,500 now. But there is a museum and cultural centre there that still gets 44,000 visitors a year.
Wow.
And I believe part of it is about this story, but also the 150 years mining history in the region.
Yeah.
Going back to that original gold rush. So you still can go there.
Wow.
And every now and then, apparently, this is still also years ago, Todd Russell might be there to give a talk.
Wow.
But, that also might have just been for the 60 Minutes interview that they said that.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I mean, of course, of course, I wouldn't think that someone would be responsible. It's an earthquake,
Yeah.
And unless they're negligent in their safety and stuff, it's like, what can you do? It's an earthquake.
Yes,
you're underground.
there was something about like the type of, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get any company in trouble, but about maybe the type of mesh they were using for reinforcing something was came into question. But or I'm not sure technically, but there were some question marks over some procedures. But you can find, if you want to look it up, Evan, the coroner's findings online, but it was hundreds of pages long.
Yeah, if you want to go into that, Evan, you are welcome to.
No. I'm not going to be delving deep into that one. I'm not going to be mining that document for.
God, Evan, stop it!
Wow,
stop it! Stop it at once.
So after me going through all that, did any of that jog your memory at all, Evan? Like, of the time?
I just wasn't following it at the time.
Yeah.
It didn't unearth any. Sorry, I'm going to stop trying to.
I'm so mad at you.
No, you had me all along. I didn't know anything about this. Really fascinating.
Yeah, I just knew sort of the headline stuff, and like I said, I didn't know that they were basically lying down. Like, it's just so scary.
Yeah,
and like nightmarish.
Must have been horrible. I really want to go and look at some of the stuff now, like the interviews, or try and find what would you recommend something to look at?
I'm going to bring up them coming out of the mine.
Watching the video of them coming. That's an awesome
video. That's where I thought I might cry.
And the podcast version of I Was Actually There is a great listen. Yeah.
Cool.
Really brings it home.
So were they down the grub?
Yeah, no, did you just bring that up because you wanted to say it?
I don't know which shaft they were down. I'm not sure if it was the grub or the heart or the main. My favourite is definitely the grub.
Wild. Terrifying.
Yeah. Awful.
I wouldn't want to be a miner.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fun. No, I wouldn't enjoy it.
I think one side effect was, like, happy side effect is that it did really improve safety.
Yeah. Yeah, anything like that. It's like, well,
there's always a review.
Yeah.
It gets better for future people.
Yeah. But it shouldn't take something like this to make that happen, but it tends to. Wow, what a story.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I found it, I'm sorry.
The thing. All right.
That's them walking out, arms over their heads, waving straight over to move their tags over. They're walking like he's walking pretty well for somebody who's, and then the wives come in, but they're both moving pretty well for people with back and knee injuries.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, that feeling must have just been. It'd just be the most incredible feeling in the world.
That's got to be the freshest air you've ever smelled.
You'd be going out to the pub. You'd be going out for dinner somewhere.
Oh, apparently this is another fun thing he says in the ABC podcast is that media are handing them everywhere, and Todd Russell, he wanted a bit of alone time with his mates and to thank people that had rescued him, whatever. So he yells out to one of the media trucks, "Hi, I'm Todd Russell. I'm going to do an interview in 25 minutes down," and he names the location. Everyone goes there. Then he snuck in the back room of a different pub. And that he could have some beers.
So good.
That's good. I like that.
With the people that had like risked their lives to save him.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them, that's another part of it, is a lot of them are the people he knows because they're like the local mining experts and he's worked with them for years.
Yeah.
They've all worked together. So
those are your mates. Which is like, imagine, obviously it's the worst for them, right? And their family's obviously the worst, but 2 weeks of going to work to do these rescue missions or going to work knowing that 2 of your mates are stuck. Yeah. And once they realise they're alive and they're so happy, but then it's still so tricky, it would be so incredibly emotionally draining for their friends and their co-workers.
And you would know more than anyone else in the world how dangerous it is. And the likely scenarios, what's the outcomes.
And in those first 4 days, they've probably been assuming their friends are dead. Then you find out they're alive and you'd be so happy, but then you're living in fear that they're going to die.
Yes, and your actions.
Yes.
Like if you do the wrong thing, you blow the wrong thing up, you drill the wrong thing.
Even when you find them alive, it's like the chances that they're going to come out of this alive is just so
it really
slim.
is like an incredible survival story.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Against all odds for sure.
Yeah. Great story.
Cool stuff. Evan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for letting me sit here for that story. That was so cool.
And if we want to hear more from you, want to see more of you, 'cause, I'm sure people do.
I'd love to see more of Evan.
Hosting up a storm on Gamey Game.
Yeah. It's a bit of an irregular release schedule at the moment. There's a lot of episodes up there. And you've both been on?
Yep.
Yes, that's right. A lot of fun. So you do like video game stuff.
Yeah, it's a comedy show. We don't take things too seriously over there. Yeah, it's ostensibly a show about video games, but it's really just a silly comedy chat show. So if you want to go check that out, it's on YouTube, Stupid Old Channel. There is a podcast version as well if you're not into looking at things. You can just listen if you like.
I have to say, one of the hardest laughs I've had recently was a clip from Gamey Game of you talking about how you think you could be an optometrist.
I didn't see that. That sounds good.
I laughed so hard the whole way through because I was like, I understand what he's saying and it's insane.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's true.
I know. I get it. I genuinely do understand. But then just hearing everybody else lose their minds, hearing Beth...
They don't think I could be.
No, I don't think so either.
They doubt you.
They doubt your ability to be an optometrist.
I mean, you got your charts. You get people to read the charts.
Oh, let's not get him riled up again. You look at the charts. How hard is it?
How hard could it be to be an optometrist?
Better or worse? 1 or 2. There you go. Done.
Yeah.
Recently, I got my eyes tested and they said my eyesight has improved.
All right.
And I don't need to wear glasses anymore. And I was like, are you an optometrist?
Are they just getting lazy?
What are you talking about?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Everyone was like, I don't know how to build glasses. You just tell everyone.
You're fine.
You don't need these.
No, your eyes are great.
Maybe they got confused and they were an optimist.
Gosh, he's good.
He's that good.
Evan Munro-Smith, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
And as we say goodbye to Evan, we say hello to you. The listeners, I'm assuming you've jumped ahead to just start listening right here.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome to everyone's favourite section of the show where we like to spend a little bit of time, giving credit where it's due.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Yeah, I think you can.
Because this podcast would not exist without you, the listeners, and our wonderful Patreons, people who support us at patreon.com/dogoonpod and get a whole bunch of rewards for different levels. Dave, what kind of stuff can they get?
Well, the big one is, the new one actually, ad-free listening.
True.
That's absolutely one of the key ones. Also, 4 bonus episodes a month. We put out one nearly every week, unless it's 5 Sundays. But we put out...
Those pesky months.
I know, darn you. We want to put one out every week, but we can't. Contractually obligated to not.
We can't. We're only doing 4.
But we're also putting out... we've already put out 250 plus bonus ones in the back catalogue. So there's literally hundreds of hours to unlock instantly. You can be in the Facebook group, which is a beautiful corner of the internet. You hear about live shows before anyone else. You get discount tickets. And you also just get the sense of satisfaction knowing that this show is going to continue to go because of you and people like you.
Keeping the lights on.
That's right. So thank you very much.
We have turned some of them off.
Yeah, we're saving power.
That's right. And so a few things we like to do here. First off, we like to start with the section where people like to give us facts, quotes, questions, brag, suggestions, anything. It can be anything.
That's right.
And this section has a jingle, and I believe it goes something like this. Fact, quote, or question. Ding! Ah, he always remembers the ding. I always remember the sink. You said dink.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Never change.
That's my new thing. I'll never not do it.
Fantastic. You'll forget. And so, yes, people here, they get to give themselves a title. They can give us a suggestion. Recently, we had a promise, a thank you. It can be anything. So, first up, we have Adam Trapczynski. Adam's given themselves a title, future guest on Who Knew It and Do Go On.
Oh.
Huge get.
But not book cheat. I've said no. Your agent got in contact and I said, never.
Absolutely
no
not.
way.
Adam's given us a suggestion. And here it is. Oh, a long one. Okay. Hey, guys. Hope you're doing well, as I have a suggestion on a possible bonus episode. I want to preface that if this was an early bonus episode, I just straight up don't remember, as I have the memory of Jess when it comes to this pod. Huh? I also want to say that even if this was a previous episode, I want it known that I came up with the idea, and if it is used without my likeness, you will hear from my lawyers, plural. I mean, you won't really, but the threat is on your mind. Anyway... You ever wonder if someone just uses a fact, quote, or question section to waste your time? I sometimes do. I wonder who would do such a thing. You know, writing in and expecting them to get to the point, but they drift off and you can't remember what the original thing they wanted to write in was. Anyway, long story short, you guys should do reading Reddit stories. I don't read Reddit myself, but I love listening to crazy stories and honestly debating if they're even real and hearing your opinions on various situations. I love the idea of reading stories, but not the type of person to take the time to look for stories to read. Well, I never really know how to sign off of the fact, quote, or question, but I hope you appreciate my short and precise suggestion of reading Reddit stories. Thank you, and go get some Matt and Jess with each other doesn't count.
What about me? I need all the encouragement I can get.
Nah. So thank you to Adam. That was a mouthful. Well done.
That was a mouthful. That was a journey.
That was fun.
Reddit stories, how do you feel about those? You ever on Reddit?
Nah, I see screenshots of Reddit stories or retellings of them over cooking videos on TikTok a lot.
Okay, what's the combination there? Why are they combined?
I don't know. Our attention spans are fucked, and so it's usually a Reddit story over like a Minecraft game or something.
Oh, and you watched the video?
Well, I must have at some point, and now I get them a fair bit in my algorithm.
Okay.
So I don't have to go looking on Reddit. They come to me.
I don't get you, internet. What is with
you? It's a strange place, and I'm scared. Yeah. I'm very frightened. Next factual question comes from Kevin West. And Kevin West has given themselves the title Misplacer of the Chill Pills.
Uh-oh.
Brother, me too.
That's why I'm feeling it.
Feeling really anxious. Kevin has given us a fact, quote, and question, but not necessarily in that order. That's in parentheses.
All right, Kevin.
Okay, so a quote I love by author and poet Richard Brautigan is, reduce intelligence and emotional noise until you arrive at the silence of yourself and listen to it. That's nice. Reduce intelligence and emotional noise until you arrive at the silence of yourself and listen to it.
I like that.
Kevin goes on, I love this as an idea, but the fact is it's hard to reduce stress and remain in a place of calm, especially as an American in 2025. Should I exercise, meditate, do yoga, pet my furry friend? No, that is not a euphemism, but maybe I should slap on a dinger and have an awkward tumble with my partner of 20 years. Hang on. That sounds like more trouble than it's worth.
Saying this beautiful sentence about how you can remain calm. Like, you should remain calm trying to find your zen place.
Should I just get a root?
Yeah, just have a bit, a roll in the hay.
Too hard.
Yeah, I can't
too much effort.
I'll have a shower after that.
So my question is, what do you three do to help reduce stress? Well,
certainly not that.
For me, there is one very unorthodox method that seems to help lately. Put on the headphones, lay down, and listen to Do Go On. Thanks for being part of my mindfulness. Do go namaste.
Oh, do go namaste to you.
What do you do to help reduce stress?
Mine is...
You don't strike me as a very stressed person.
I can get stressed with when things sort of...
Okay, no need to be defensive about
I can get stressed, okay? No, when things can, I guess, ramp up and you're like, oh, I've got so many things to do. Got to do this. Love having a little walk. Around the block. Fresh air.
Yes.
Look at the park.
Hot girl
Look at
walks
the ocean.
Is what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, love that. Listen to a podcast, try and think about something else. Listen to an audiobook. Listen to some nice music. Mm-hmm. That's definitely my most... What are you laughing at?
Just a weird thing popped into my head, that's all.
And what is it?
Like that you're going for a walk and I was like, and I go out and punch Nazis. That's what popped into my head.
And that calms you down?
Yeah, it calms me down. Yeah, it settles my nerves.
That gets me going, No, yeah, I love a bit of fresh air. How about yourself?
To help reduce stress, I have regular appointments with a therapist.
Okay, that's good.
And I exercise and I pat my dog and I avoid stress. No, I don't. I can't. I try.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's everywhere.
It's hard.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, look, there's lots of different things. I've been trying to get a bit more into yoga and Pilates again, but more just because my body is sore.
Yeah, okay, sure.
You know?
And you're doing classes or doing it at home?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Yeah.
I've had an interesting journey with exercise. Turns out it's been making things worse in terms of migraines.
I've been telling that for years.
I know.
Exercise, it will kill you.
So now I'm starting again. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Adam. We really appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
The next thing we need to do is shout out some of our fantastic listeners. We play a little game with it and we shout them out. And what kind of game could we play? Because I've just remembered the heaviness of this topic.
Yes, that's right. Being trapped underground for 2 weeks. It's a difficult
because obviously my brain goes straight to where are they trapped.
Yes.
Does that feel poor taste?
We could, what band has written them a tribute song? The Foo Fighters wrote that song. That's great.
Should I get band generator?
Yes, random band generator. What band were they listening? Are they listening to in a stressful situation? And then the band's found out and gone, you know what? I'm going to write you a track.
Here's the thing. We were just talking before we started recording about AI and how like full on it's getting and how we're going to be out of a job soon. And I'm like, oh, I hate AI. But here I am. What the fuck do I think these random list generators are?
Oh, someone just inputted there's 500 bands and it cycles through. Is it just it's an Excel spreadsheet with 500? Or
it's hard to say. Who knows?
Oh, you're right.
I know.
You're right.
I know.
Hadn't thought about the random generators.
But here we are.
I think the ones where it is combined, when it's coming up with new things, I did assume that it was like when we've got create a wizard name, it's got a combination of 3 things and it just smashes them together. But maybe it is artificial intelligence.
Well, nowadays probably. But anyway, I like that. This is a band that's written them a song during a very stressful situation.
Yes.
They may or may not be trapped somewhere.
Yeah, they just needed a
They've made
a track.
the news though. Something's happened.
Yeah, and now they've had a tribute.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll read the people in their place and you give us the band or the artist that's written a song about them.
You got it.
First of all, thank you from Barnard Castle in Great Britain. Doesn't that sound beautiful?
Beautiful.
From Barnard Castle, it's Laura Kennedy.
Bruno Mars has written you a ballad.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's going to get billions of streams.
Exactly. And you're not going to see a cent of that.
Spotify. Yeah, you're not going to.
You're not going to see a cent of that.
Yes, exactly. He's taking your trauma.
To be honest, Bruno's probably not seeing heaps from streams.
No, I don't think so. Even when you have billions,
he's not sharing that with you.
Laura Kennedy, Bruno Mars. What a collab.
Huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Next up, I'd like to thank from a location unknown to us, which means they haven't shared it, but that's okay because we assume that means they are deep within the fortress of the moles, and that is Nick.
Nick getting a big star. Ariana Grande.
Whoa! What a voice.
Huge
voice.
Huge voice. Tiny
Ariana
woman.
Grande. Exactly. Where does it come from?
It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Great work.
She must be 90% lungs.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's other organs in there. There can't be. Just from an anatomical perspective.
Can't get in there. She doesn't have a liver. No spleen in there.
Don't need it.
What a waste of space.
It's all lungs.
It's all lungs.
She's like a balloon.
Nick, N-I-C-K, and your last name looks like it starts with an H, if you think.
Did you just spell Nick?
Well, because I guess it would have been better if it was just N-I-C, wouldn't it?
Then it might have been worth spelling.
Yeah.
But N-I-C-K is default Nick.
I've ruled out maybe 0.5% of Nicks. You're absolutely right. I cop that.
Sorry, I just can't let you get away with it.
I know. I appreciate it. You keep me honest. From Brighton in Great Britain, thank you to Camalooney.
Camalooney, another big one. Are you ready? Another big voice, big celeb, big artist at the moment, tiny person. Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter. Wow.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Massive. Again, all lungs, surely. So teeny tiny. Pocket size.
And you get these three people. These are all people in their prime as well.
Yeah.
So these new hits coming out, people are going to hear them.
That's right. This is huge for you.
And this one's for you. I'd like to thank from Cleveland in the USA. Thank you to Jeremiah. And I don't think it is Cleveland, Ohio either. Looks like it's Cleveland in Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
They have a Cleveland in Mississippi. I love Mississippi. I thank you. I love when I accidentally said it that way, and I'm obsessed with saying it like that.
Mississippi.
From big old Mississippi. Oh my God! Home to the Grammy Museum, Mississippi.
David, you've gotten distracted.
History of the Grammys.
You haven't even said the person's name.
No, well, this is bigger than you. Okay, this is about Mississippi. No, from Cleveland, Mississippi. Thank you to Jeremiah Smith.
Speaking of Grammys, Billie Eilish.
That's a truckload.
That's a lot.
I was thinking you meant grandmas at first.
Speaking of grandmas.
Yeah, wow. Billie Eilish. What an accomplished singer.
Yeah, huge.
Now writing about you, Jeremiah Smith. Love it. 2 Academy Awards.
I know.
2.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Bizarre.
From Shoreham by Sea in Great Britain. Beautiful sounding place as well. Meg. Spelt M-E-G.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yes.
Meg, huge, has had a song written about them by Florence and the Machine.
Whoa!
One of the best live gigs I've ever seen in my life.
Really, another great voice.
Such a great voice.
Huge.
Oh, the energy in that arena was electric.
Love to see them.
So good.
Would you be standing ovation if they said this one's for Meg?
No.
Meg's been in the news.
I don't like the Meg song. Not my favourite.
I love to think that it's also called The Meg.
The Meg. It's called The Meg song. And everybody else is standing ovation, but I'm just sitting down and going, I've got my purse on my lap.
Play the second album.
I'm checking my watch. Yawn. No offence to Meg. I just don't rate the song.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks, Meg. And thank you to Location Unknown to us. We can assume this person's also deep within the Fortress of the Moles. Thank you to Angelina Allen.
Angelina Allen has had a song written about them by Blake Shelton.
Really?
Yeah.
Blake Shelton. Is that an American Idol guy?
Yes.
Maybe if you have country, that's what I do know.
Yeah.
And is he on Idol?
I think so.
Maybe it's just a...
One of them?
Oh, he debuted in 2001. Maybe not. Okay, maybe it's just one of those American...
Oh, no, sorry. No, he's not on... he wasn't on American Idol, but I thought he's a judge.
Oh, sorry. I'm now scrolling down. He's a coach on The Voice. For many seasons.
Yeah, there you go.
For 12 years. Okay.
Married to Gwen Stefani.
Oh, okay. That's another reason I know that. Great. Brilliant. Well, Angelina Allen, here's a new country and western hit just for you. A couple to go here. Thank you so much from Edinburgh, one of our favourite cities in the whole wide world. Thank you to Jeremy Juan.
I've been listening to this track a little bit, actually.
About Jeremy Juan?
Yes, because it was written and recorded by Chapel Roan.
Oh my gosh. Love it.
Huge. This random music artist generator is quite pop heavy.
It's really going through, a lot of...
I'm just choosing the ones that I know. And
are some coming up you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, big time. I'm just going to read the next one because these guys have come up multiple times, so I'm just going to read it.
Okay. Now, next up from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much, which I believe is the capital there, to Hanouf Makbal.
And
Hanouf Makbal.
Out of Nashville, a duo called Florida Georgia Line.
Florida Georgia Line.
Yep.
Okay.
Who I think broke up.
No, but surely they're back together?
I don't know. I've never heard of them.
No, but for this situation.
Yes, they're back together.
To write a track for Hanouf Makbal.
This.
There you go. Oh, yeah, it looked like they a couple of years ago. Anyway, they're back, and their new hit is all about Hanouf in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Massive.
Love it. Thank you so much. Great to have you supporting us. I think in the last few weeks, there's been a couple of people from Saudi Arabia. We're really starting to crack that Saudi Arabian market.
About time.
Thank you, Hanouf. And finally, I would like to thank, bringing it closer to home, from Broadford in Victoria. Hello. Thank you to Sarah Hollis,
who has had a track written about them. It's already got awards buzz.
Really?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Huge.
Because what I love about that is there's going to be, there's the Sarah Hollis single. There's also the Sarah Hollis dance moves.
Exactly
that
right.
come along with that.
Yeah, yeah. And an iconic outfit that Gaga is wearing in the video clip that
Maybe
people will know about.
People might say she's in a Sarah Hollis era.
Exactly. It's pretty big. It's exciting stuff.
Love it. So thank you again to Sarah, Hanouf, Jeremy, Angelina, Meg, Jeremiah, Kamaluni, Nick, and Laura. Well, there's only one thing left to do, JP, and that is check if there's any inductees into this week's Trip Ditch Club, our Theatre of the Mind Clubhouse Hall of Fame, where people that have been supporting the show on the shout-out level or above for 3 consecutive years, well, we're going to shout them out one more time by welcoming them into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We high-five them as we yell out their name. They go on in, and inside there's food, drink, entertainment, places to sleep, places to
do whatever else you need to do.
Whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Do your ablutions. Yes. We've recently just upgraded. Now we have toilets.
We have toilets, and we took the feedback. People wanted toilets. And we said, okay. Wouldn't have thought that, but okay. So there are a few inductees this week. Dave, I am behind the bar, as you know. I handle food and drink, which is, now that I think about it, quite sexist that's my job.
Hey.
You're literally saying to the woman,
we've tried,
get back in the kitchen.
We've tried to wrestle those utensils from your hands, and you have honestly given us a couple of black eyes.
Well, it's often on theme, and this week I've gone a little bit crazy, if I can be honest with you, Dave. I've gone a bit wild.
Oh my gosh, what have you got?
I went to Costco, and I bought a pallet of muesli bars.
A pallet of muesli bars?
Yeah,
okay, fantastic.
Yeah. Which is crazy because you just mentioned before that like the guys, while they were stuck in a hole, they've got a muesli bar. And
then they were like, all right, we'll eat on day 1, day 4.
Yeah.
And then they dropped it.
Well, I've got so many muesli bars. So you don't have to ration it. You can just go nuts.
Go nuts?
Yeah.
Hey, drop it. Who cares?
It's a variety pack too.
Grab a new one.
Grab a new one. I don't give a shit.
Gosh. Any with coconut?
No.
Chocolate?
No.
What kind of variety? We got berries?
No.
What do we got?
Plain.
A variety pack of plain. Oh, hey, enjoy everyone.
And you also book a band, Dave.
Yes, you're never going to believe it.
What?
You are never going to believe it.
What?
Here to perform an entirely acoustic set. They will not be singing, but who cares? He's also great at guitar. Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters is here.
No way.
Yes.
Why won't he sing?
Because he's only playing his instrumental tracks.
Oh, okay.
Like Ballad of the Beaconsfield Miners.
Gotcha.
I'm sure there's others.
There's bound to be others. But do you reckon we could sway him a little bit to sing a couple of the classics?
No, he did say he will do some Nirvana songs, but only on the drums.
Okay. Okay.
So there's that bit, It Smells Like Teen Spirit, the that we all know, how it starts. And then from then on, everyone's going to sing along and hope they're up to the right bit.
Yeah, and some people have to go, da, 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 da. Okay. Yeah, that could actually be a bit of fun.
Quite fun.
That could be a bit of fun. All right, so we've got 3 inductees. Matt's usually here to like lift the velvet rope, let people in. I'll do that this week. Dave, you then hype them up. I will hype you up. It's just going to be a big old hype fest, okay? And I'm not here to shit on you like Matt usually is.
Thank you.
I love and support you. May I touch your tush?
Please, and commence touching.
Okay. First up, please welcome into the Trip Ditch Club from Tampa in Florida, Samuel Orozco.
From Tampa, and I love to pamper, Samuel Orozco.
Yeah, we'll pamper ya.
Woo!
Put some cucumbers on your eyes, unless you're allergic.
Just let us know.
Just let us know.
Should have filled out a form.
We'll use something else. That's fine. But you should feel pampered. Next up, from Ashford in Washington, it's Brendan.
10 out of Brendan.
Yes. Like 10 out of 10.
Yes.
10
every
out
time.
of Brendan.
10 out of Brendan.
And next up, from what is this place? Is that Finland?
Oh, wow.
No, surely not. Sorry, I got immediately distracted. It is in Finland.
Wow.
From Kangasala, definitely said that wrong and I apologise, in Finland, it is Sander Rebane.
I love to pander to Sander
Yeah.
Rebane. Woo!
So Sander, Brendan, Samuel, welcome in. Finally, we've been waiting for you. Dave Grohl is just setting up on the stage over there, so just give him like 10 minutes. He's just doing a little tune.
Up there.
But please feel free to help yourself to as many muesli bars as you'd like. Take some for later. Not that you can leave. And ablutions just over to your left. Make yourself at home. And thank you so much for joining us in the Trip Ditch Club.
Yes, well done.
And welcome.
One and all.
Well, that about brings us to the end then, Dave. That's everything we need to do. Just a reminder for the 500th and second time that if you want to suggest a topic, you can. Anybody can. You don't have to be in this Patreon section to suggest a topic. There's a link in the show notes. It's also on our website, which is dogoonpod.com. And you can find us on social media at dogoonpod. But apart from that, Davey boy, boot this baby home.
Hey, we'll be back next week with another episode. But until then, thank you so much for listening and goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Josie Santee from the Every Girl podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dressed season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and your everyday wardrobe, discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy, too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
Hi guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. With summer around the corner, I wanted to tell you guys how I'm staying comfy and stylish. Lululemon is my secret weapon. There are plenty of copycats out there, but nothing compares to the Lululemon fabrics and fit. I've literally had my pair of Lululemon leggings since college. And I'm out of college. I know I don't look it, but I am. The quality is next level. I especially love the Lululemon Align collection. It's made with this weightless, buttery soft Nulu fabric that feels like next to nothing. It's so soft. Whether you're in Align pants, shorts, a bra, tank, skirt, a dress, you get nonstop flexibility in every direction so you can stretch the summer limits. Align even wicks sweat. And as a sweaty girl, I love this. You know it's going to be my best friend when I play tennis this summer. Shop the Align collection online at lululemon.com or your nearest Lululemon store.
Don't forget to sign up to our tour mailing list so we know where in the world you are and we can come and tell you when we're coming there.
Wherever we go, we always hear 6 months later, oh, you should come to Manchester. We were just in Manchester.
We were just there, but this way you'll never miss out. And don't forget to sign up, go to our Instagram, click our link tree. Very, very easy.
It means we know to come to you, and you'll also know that we're coming to you.
Yeah, we'll come to you, you come to us. Very good.
And we give you a spam-free guarantee.